Chapter 1466. After Guijian and the other three died, the disciples of the four sects all looked at Qin Feng with fear in their eyes. They definitely didn't dare to attack again, but they even lost the courage to run away. Bai Weijian carefully walked over. Young hero Qiao, you're actually so powerful. I was wrong before. I hope young hero Qiao won't blame me. Bai Weijian's attitude towards Qin Feng also changed. Before, he took care of Qin Feng like a younger brother, but now he was respectful towards him like he was facing a senior. Qin Feng patted Bai Weijian's shoulder and smiled. Brother Bai, don't be polite with me. I still have to thank you and the disciples of 100 Herb Hall for taking care of us along the way. Bai Weijian's worried heart relaxed. He was worried that Qin Feng would turn against 100 Herb Hall, but now it seemed like he was thinking too much. Qin Feng looked at the disciples of the four sects again and said indifferently, I won't make things difficult for you. As long as you cut your wrists and draw the Blizzard King over, I can spare your lives. There were a total of 80 elite disciples from the four sections. Among them, the weakest had already stepped into the realm of True Qi Stage 6. Although these people couldn't squeeze into the ranks of the strongest in the Divine Continent, they were still people with high statuses. Now that Qin Feng wanted them to cut their wrists to draw the Blizzard King over, they were depressed to death. However, under Qin Feng's powerful might, these people had no choice but to cut their wrists. When they cut their wrists one by one, they felt disgusted as if they had eaten a fly. They originally wanted to capture Qin Feng and the others to cut their wrists, but they didn't think that they would be the ones to do it. The scene of 80 people cutting their wrists at the same time was quite spectacular. The disciples of 100 Herb Hall and Su Ruoro and the other two girls were dumbstruck. Qin Feng stood indifferently in the snowy ground. He didn't even look at those disciples. Purple flames flickered in the depths of his eyes as he stared into the depths of the blizzard. The blood of 80 people mixed together, and the smell of blood was extremely strong. It had already mixed with the blizzard and drifted out. Su Ruoro and the other two girls frowned. They were a bit repulsed by the strong smell of blood. The disciples of 100 Herb Hall had grave expressions. Everyone felt a hidden but strong sense of danger quickly approaching. Roar, roar. Suddenly, a roar came from within the blizzard. The roar was like thunder, blowing the drifting snowflakes in the air into a mess. In an instant, their surroundings became even darker. Visibility was less than a meter away. Standing in the snowstorm, they couldn't even see their companions clearly. The roars of the beasts were getting closer and closer, causing everyone's hearts to race. Rumble. A loud explosion rang out, causing everyone to scream in fear. A bright golden light descended from the sky in the foggy snowstorm. The snowstorm in front of him was forcefully split open. The crack was more than a meter wide and hundreds of meters long. Everyone's vision became clear. There was no wind or snow falling into the opening created by the golden blade light. The scene in front of them made everyone nervous. There were actually hundreds of snow beasts surging towards them. When Qin Feng's saber landed on the ground, he hastily swung his saber horizontally again. The golden blade light was like a golden dragon swinging its tail, sending the first dozen snow beasts flying into the air. After launching 2 attacks, everyone still hadn't regained their senses. Qin Feng looked at the ferocious snow beasts coming from all directions and leaped back into the crowd. With a thought, Su Ruoro and the other two girls, who were still in a daze, disappeared. Big Brother Bai, hurry and leave with the disciples of 100 Herb Hall. Qin Feng spoke quickly. He realized how ferocious the snow beasts were. Bai Weijian finally came to his senses. His expression immediately became firm. Brother Qiao, if you want to leave, let's leave together. You're not a match for those snow beasts. I came here to find the Blizzard King. I can't leave for now. You guys retreat first. I'll be fine. Qin Feng's tone became even more resolute. Bai Weizhen was in a dilemma. The disciples of 100 Herb Hall revealed expressions of fear. However, if Bai Weizhen didn't leave, they wouldn't leave either. As for the disciples of the 4 sects who slit their wrists, their faces were already ashen. They had lost too much blood and their true qi was greatly depleted. Now that there were hundreds of snow beasts rushing over, they would really die here if they didn't escape. Young hero Qiao, we've already slit our wrists according to your instructions. Please spare our lives. Someone couldn't help but shout. For a moment, the crowd's shouts and the beasts' roars rose and fell. The battle hadn't even started, but the scene was already a mess. Qin Feng didn't make things difficult for the disciples of the 4 sections. Since these people helped him attract the snow beasts, there was no point in keeping them alive. Under his command, the disciples of the 4 sects immediately started to escape. However, Bai Weizhen was still standing next to him and was still trying to persuade him, "Brother Qiao, if you don't leave now, it'll be too late. The Snow King is indeed hiding many treasures, but it's also incomparably ferocious. It's been an extreme ice city for dozens of years. During this time, many experts have come to hunt it down. However, the Snow King is still here, and there's no news of those people." Qin Feng understood Bai Weizhen's intentions. However, he wasn't someone ordinary people could compare to. If Qin Feng really couldn't defeat the Snow Blizzard King, he could still hide in the Immortal Island. At least his safety wouldn't be a problem. "Big Brother Bai, I don't have time to explain. You guys find a safe place to hide first. Since I dared to stay, I naturally have my trump card." Qin Feng's voice was still echoing in the snowy ground, but his figure had already disappeared into the snowstorm. Bai Weizhen anxiously shouted his name, but he didn't hear Qin Feng's reply. Not long later, a violent explosion came from the depths of the snowstorm. Qin Feng and his blade had already stepped into the group of snow beasts. These snow beasts were all rank 4 magical beasts. They were comparable to martial artists at the 6th or 7th stage of true qi. With Qin Feng's current realm, he wasn't afraid of them at all. The golden blade aura continuously fell from the sky, splitting the sky of the snowstorm. The instant the blade landed, a row of snow beasts would fall to the ground. In just a few short minutes, a large circle of snow beasts had fallen under Qin Feng's feet. However, under Qin Feng's ferocious attack, the group of snow beasts didn't retreat at all. Instead, they charged forward even more ferociously. Moreover, new snow beasts were constantly added to the snowstorm, as if there was no end to them. Even though Qin Feng's true qi was strong, after a series of fierce attacks, he still felt a little tired. He leaped into the air, and the golden wheels under his feet were like 2 faintly discernible balls of fire in the snowstorm. The moment he opened his eyes, 2 purple flames fell from the sky, immediately exploding into 2 huge pits on the snowy ground. All the snow beasts that were within the range of the purple flames were all blown to pieces. Roar roar. After fighting for an unknown amount of time, the extremely penetrating roar from before rang out again. The snowstorm immediately changed direction, and Qin Feng's expression changed. He felt a gust of wind coming from the snowstorm, and before he could react, his entire body was sent flying. Roar roar. The roar exploded in the sky again, and a huge snow beast jumped out from the snowstorm. This huge beast was completely different from the other snow beasts. Its body was 5 to 6 meters long, and it had 2 wolf heads. Its fur was snow white, and it stood on 2 feet in the snowy ground. It looked very much like the legendary werewolves. As soon as Qin Feng landed, the 2-headed werewolf leaped lightly, instantly crossing the distance of tens of meters, and arrived in mid-air. Its feet were as big as tires, and the instant it landed, it sent snowflakes scattering everywhere. Whoosh! Qin Feng had already left on the golden wheels, but he could still feel the aftershock of the impact from the ground. The 2-headed werewolf's foot was incomparably powerful, and it could probably stomp a stage 8 realm martial artist to death. Fuck. Be big ice cream. Little Pig's voice sounded. Qin Feng was gloomy. What big ice cream? Little Pig swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva and said, hee hee, I got excited and said it wrong. It's a snow monster. Master, this is the Blizzard King, called the two-headed werewolf king. Normal people would run for their lives when they saw the Snow King, but Qin Feng's eyes flickered. Has this Snow King been evaluated by the system as one of the 10 great savage beasts? Of course it has been evaluated. The two-headed werewolf king is a purebred wolf king of the demon race. It only existed 100 years ago, and it's very difficult to find this kind of magical beast now. It's even more powerful than the giant winged fire demon and the poisonous scorpion king. After Little Pig's explanation, Qin Feng knew he had found another little treasure. While the other powerful beings were busy subduing disciples, Qin Feng was busy subduing savage beasts. Then this Blizzard King or the Blood Fiend Brown Bear subdued by the Immortal Island, which is more powerful? Qin Feng asked. This is not easy to compare. The Blizzard King is an Ice Attribute Rank 7 magical beast, and the Blood Fiend Brown Bear is a Berserk Attribute Rank 7 magical beast. Their strengths are about the same, but in this extreme ice city, the Blood Fiend Brown Bear is definitely not a match for the Snow King. Qin Feng understood what Little Pig meant. Fighting didn't only depend on one's own strength, but also on the harmony between heaven and earth. Now that he was in the Blizzard King's territory, Qin Feng was at a disadvantage. While they were talking, the number of snow beasts gathered in the snowy ground doubled. As far as the eye could see, there were at least 500 to 600 snow beasts. Qin Feng couldn't land on the golden wheel for a while. The snow beasts kept chasing after him, and the two-headed werewolf king kept roaring in anger. He couldn't fly into the air, and he looked like he was about to die from anxiety. Rumble. Suddenly, a loud sound exploded under Qin Feng's feet. He was only distracted for a moment, and the Blizzard King opened its mouth and shot several ice thorns into the air, directly hitting Qin Feng to the ground. Roar! The moment he landed, hundreds of snow beasts pounced at him crazily. Qin Feng hurriedly slashed horizontally with his blade. Although he repelled a large number of snow beasts, there were still more snow beasts attacking from all directions. The situation immediately changed, and Qin Feng fell into a predicament. Before he could deal with the snow beasts around him, a huge white shadow fell from the sky. It was the Blizzard King that stomped down ferociously. Rumble. The Snow King's speed was extremely fast, and the instant it landed, everything within a 100-meter radius shook. Qin Feng couldn't dodge in time, and his body was sent flying into the air. He was like a kite with a broken string, drifting in the blizzard. The Snow King didn't give him any chance. It opened its mouth and shot dozens of ice thorns into the sky. The ice sparkled with a deep blue light, and was as hard as steel. Just as it was about to pierce through Qin Feng, his eyes widened, and 2 balls of purple fire fell. Chapter 1467. Rumble. The purple dusk immortal fire and extreme ice collided in mid-air, resulting in a loud explosion. Extreme ice was an elemental existence that was one level lower than a heavenly flame, but in the environment of Extreme Ice City, it was comparable to a heavenly flame. Seeing the icicles disappear in mid-air, the two-headed werewolf king's expression changed. A strange glint flashed across its sapient blue eyes. Clearly, it didn't expect flames to appear in Extreme Ice City. The appearance of the purple flames seemed to have enraged the two-headed werewolf king. It opened its mouth and shot out icicles again. This time, hundreds of icicles shot into the sky like an icy rain. Qin Feng's heart tightened. He didn't even have time to release the purple dusk immortal fire. With a thought, a huge explosion sounded in mid-air, and 3 black figures landed on the ground. Roar! The giant winged fire devil and the other two beasts looked at the snowy surroundings in confusion. They were just playing around on Immortal Island a second ago. Why were they suddenly here? However, the three beasts quickly came to their senses. When they saw the snow beasts all over the ground attacking Qin Fun, the three beasts went berserk and charged in all directions. For a moment, the scene was incomparably chaotic. While the group of small snow beasts were still wondering where these three beasts had come from, dozens of snow beasts had already been sent flying. The giant winged fire devil opened its mouth and shot out a sea of fire. However, it was shocked. In Extreme Ice City, the power of the flames it shot out was actually reduced by half. The poisonous Scorpion King's attacks weren't affected. Its tail swept out like a dragon emerging from the sea, and the poisonous stinger on its tip pierced out from time to time, beating away the snow beasts around it. The most ferocious was the blood-fiend brown bear. It stood in the midst of the snow beasts as if it had stepped into an unstoppable realm. The snow beasts' attacks were like tickles to it. When it casually waved its arm, dozens of snow beasts were sent flying at the same time. With the addition of these three beasts, Qin Fun could finally catch his breath. The two-headed werewolf king that had been chasing him suddenly stopped and charged at the giant winged fire devil like a madman. The fire devil wasn't afraid of the Snow King. It stood on the spot and shot out fire. The Snow King was even more ferocious. It opened its mouth and shot out a sheet of icicles. When the icicles and fire collided, the flames instantly dissipated. The icicles shot by the Snow King were still flying, and when they landed on the fire devil, they let out a loud bang. Bang, bang, bang. Struck by hundreds of ice spikes, the fire demon howled in pain. It realized that its flames had lost their power in Extreme Ice City. It didn't clash head-on with the Snow King. It flapped its wings and flew into the sky. After the Blizzard King failed to chase the fire demon, it angrily attacked the poisonous Scorpion King. The poisonous Scorpion King hurriedly swung its tail, and its sharp stinger went straight for the Snow King's head. The Snow King roared, and a layer of ice suddenly formed on its huge body. The poisonous Scorpion King's sharp stinger couldn't pierce through. Roar! The Snow King waved its long arm and rammed into the Scorpion King. The Scorpion King was huge. It weighed at least 4 to 5 tons, but even such a huge creature was sent rolling on the ground by the Snow King's slap. The Fire Demon and the Scorpion King were indeed no match for the Snow King. The blood fiend Brown Bear angrily rushed over to avenge the two beasts. The two demonic beasts didn't retreat. They charged forward from a distance of tens of meters. The moment they collided, cracks appeared in the snow. The loud sound was earth-shattering, and it caused a huge avalanche on the mountain top. The violent snowstorm became more and more intense. The environment in this area was already extremely bad. When the poisonous Scorpion King and the giant winged fire demon recovered, they couldn't even see in front of them. The blood fiend Brown Bear was also blinded by the snowstorm. It couldn't even find the Snow King's position. The two-headed werewolf king lived in this snowstorm all year round, turning into a white shadow that darted around. Bang, bang, bang. Loud sounds exploded in the snowstorm, as if it was playing an exceptional divine song with the howling wind. The blood fiend Brown Bear's body was constantly being attacked. It could only take a beating in this snowstorm. Qin Fun leaped in the air on his golden wheel, observing the entire situation. No matter how strong the snowstorm was, it was useless under the effect of his talisman of clairvoyance. Qin Fun waved his hand, and a purple longbow appeared in his hand. The battle bow didn't have a string, but he pulled it back. Arrow, come! Qin Fun yelled in the air. A gust of wind exploded, and a sharp arrow shot out from the snowstorm. The body of the arrow glowed with pure white light, and the arrowhead flickered with faint purple flames. There was a pair of wings at the end of the arrow. It was a cloud-piercing arrow. Whoosh! The instant Qin Fan let go, the cloud-piercing arrow shot through the air. It was as fast as a shooting star. Even Qin Fan couldn't catch its trajectory. But a loud sound came from the ground. The cloud-piercing arrow pierced the Snow King's back, piercing a crack in the layer of ice on its body. "Arrow, come!" Qin Fan yelled again, and the cloud-piercing arrow flew back into his hand. He aimed again, and a purple light slid through the air, hitting the same spot on the Snow King's back. Boom! The loud sound shook the heavens and the earth. The ice armor on the Snow King's body completely shattered, but it didn't seem to be seriously injured. Qin Fan knew the power of the cloud-piercing arrow. An arrow piercing through the clouds was unstoppable. From this, it could be seen how strong the ice the Snow King formed was. "Master, it's not the power of extreme ice. No matter how strong the extreme ice attribute is, it can't block the cloud-piercing arrow. It should have something to do with the environment of Extreme Ice City. There seems to be mysterious ice of heaven and earth hidden here." Little Pig said with furrowed brows. Qin Fan had long realized that this place was unusual. The power of the flames was weakened here. The power of the ice attribute was strengthened here. The two arrows didn't hurt the Blizzard King, but Qin Fan didn't give up. He drew his bow and shot again. The cloud-piercing arrow was too fast. Even if the Snow King realized that Qin Fan was ambushing it, it couldn't dodge at all. Rumble. The cloud-piercing arrow fell again and again, and the sound was continuous. The Snow King's body kept forming ice armor, but the color of the ice armor became weaker and weaker. It changed from the initial azure to the current clear color. After an unknown number of arrows, the Blizzard King finally couldn't take it anymore. The cloud-piercing arrow pierced through the hard fur on its back, and its huge body flew more than 10 meters before landing. Boom! The moment the Snow King landed, the hundreds of snow beasts instantly went crazy. They charged at the giant winged fire demon and the other two demonic beasts with no regard for their lives. Qin Fan hurriedly shot another arrow. The cloud-piercing arrow whistled through the air, and it flashed with a purple light. The snow beasts couldn't withstand the attack of the cloud-piercing arrow. One arrow pierced through the bodies of dozens of snow beasts. The strong smell of blood permeated the blizzard. Under the ferocity of the cloud-piercing arrow and the giant winged fire demon, the snow beasts were finally a little afraid. However, they still refused to leave. They surrounded the two-headed werewolf king and roared angrily at the sky. Qin Fan's original intention was to subdue the Blizzard King. He didn't really want to kill the snow beasts. He saw that the Snow King was seriously injured and its consciousness was very weak, so he hurriedly tried to subdue it. A strange wave of energy rippled around Qin Fan. After subduing the purple cloud immortal fire, he realized that his spiritual power had increased by several times. The process of subduing the Snow King went smoothly. After a short while, the Snow King's expression changed. He suddenly looked at Qin Fan in the air and jumped up and down in joy as if he had seen his father. The group of snow beasts instantly felt depressed. Their king had been beaten by the enemy, but their king was now very kind to the enemy. It even seemed to be submitting to the enemy. Qin Fan had already landed, and the group of snow beasts immediately surrounded him. However, after the Snow King roared, the snow beasts all retreated a few meters away from Qin Fan. Ding! Congratulations host Qin Fan for successfully subduing the two-headed werewolf king. The system rewards host Qin Fan 100,000 hedonist points and a pair of ice wings. Host Qin Fan's total hedonist points, 149,000 hedonist points. The system notification sounded. With a slight thought, a pair of azure ice wings condensed behind Qin Fan's back. According to the system's introduction, these ice wings were made from ice. They were incredibly hard, and could be used to fly and attack with icicles. Qin Fan leaped into the air and flew 100 meters with a flap of the ice wings. With another thought, icicles rained down on the snowy ground. "Master, the Snow King said it has a secret to tell you." Just as Qin Fan landed, Little Pig's voice sounded. "What secret?" "It said that there's a snowy mountain with 2 peaks in the Snow Beast Canyon. There's a 1,000-year-old ice soul hidden in the valley of the mountain. The reason why Extreme Ice City is cold all year round is because of the ice soul," Little Pig said. Qin Fan was overjoyed. He had mysteriously fallen into Extreme Ice City from Poison Sun City, but he didn't expect to obtain so many treasures. Qin Fan realized that the 1,000-year-old ice soul was an existence as powerful as the mysterious fire of heaven and earth. Poison Sun City and Extreme Ice City, one was fire and the other was ice. So they both had holy items hidden in them. Under the Snow King's guidance, Qin Fan arrived at the innermost part of the Snow Beast Canyon. In front of him were 2 towering ice mountains that pierced through the clouds. The mountains were covered with layers of snow and ice. Just looking at them was enough to make one shiver. "Master, the Snow King said that there's a 1,000-year-old ice soul hidden in the valley between the 2 peaks, Little Pig said. Qin Fan immediately unfurled the ice wings on his back. In a short while, he landed on top of the ice mountain valley. Now that he had subdued the purple dusk immortal fire, he hadn't felt cold since he stepped into Extreme Ice City. However, standing in the ice mountain valley, Qin Fan couldn't help but sneeze a few times. "There's no entrance here. How do I get in?" Qin Fan walked around the canyon. The 2-headed werewolf king ran to an empty space. Suddenly, it laid down on the ground and started digging like a dog. Qin Fan was stunned. So this werewolf king had 2 forms. It could walk like a human, but it could also run like a wolf. Qin Fan was a little depressed. This was a hard ice mountain. The snow and ice on it had already frozen. According to the Snow King's digging speed, he probably wouldn't be able to find the 1,000-year-old ice soul even if he dug until next year. Rumble. But at this moment, a loud sound exploded under the Snow King's feet. Its huge body actually fell into the ground. For a moment, it couldn't be seen. "Master, the Snow King has found the 1,000-year-old ice soul. Hurry up and catch up." Little Pig's excited voice sounded. Qin Fan ran to the snow-covered ground and looked down. He discovered that this area was actually empty. Inside was a huge underground ice palace that was resplendent. Chapter 1468. Qin Feng had already entered the underground ice palace. The temperature inside was so low that he was shivering from the cold. "Master, the Snow King said that the area under the snow is facing the 1,000-year ice crystal. This area is empty so that the cold energy from the 1,000-year ice crystal can be released. This way, the entire Extreme Ice City will be cold all year round." Little Pig translated along the way. The underground ice palace was magnificent. The walls were covered with a layer of ice and countless icicles hung from the ceiling. These icicles were not ordinary. Qin Feng tried to grab an icicle and realized that he couldn't break it. Moreover, the icicles were extremely cold. Qin Feng had the protection of the purple dusk immortal fire. If a normal person touched the ice in the underground ice palace, they would instantly be frozen into an ice sculpture. Under the guidance of the Snow King, Qin Feng soon saw the 1,000-year ice crystal. It was a pure and resplendent ice crystal the size of a fist. It was floating on top of a stone. In the entire underground ice palace, only that round stone was not frozen. "Master, don't take it directly. This 1,000-year ice crystal has existed for 1,000 years and already has intelligence. You need to erase its consciousness and add it to Master's consciousness to subdue it." Just as Qin Feng was about to grab it, Little Pig's voice sounded. Qin Fan stood where he was, and a strange energy wave rippled out from his body. That 1,000-year-old ice crystal had indeed developed a consciousness. When Qin Fan's consciousness captured it, the ice crystal suddenly leaped up in the underground ice palace. Roar, roar! The two-headed werewolf king roared. Little Pig anxiously shouted, "Master, quickly chase after it. If we let the 1,000-year ice crystal escape, we won't be able to find it." Qin Feng turned into a black shadow and chased after it. The speed of the 1,000-year ice crystal was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it had already flown out of the underground ice palace and onto the snowy ground. Whoosh! As soon as they came out of the underground ice palace, Qin Feng felt the weather change in Extreme Ice City. Previously, the 1,000-year ice crystal was hidden underground, which already made Extreme Ice City feel like it was winter all year round. Now that it was outside, the entire Extreme Ice City seemed to have fallen into an icehouse. Even the little snow beasts were crying out from the cold. For a moment, the Holy Gate disciples who were doing missions in Extreme Ice City cried because of Qin Feng. They suddenly felt a cold current invading their bodies and the violent snowstorm around them became several times stronger. The Holy Gate's disciples with lower cultivation realms were unable to resist the strong cold current, and some of them even froze to death on the spot. Everyone started to escape from Extreme Ice City. However, at this moment, Qin Feng was chasing after the 1,000-year ice crystal. This ice crystal was extremely fast. Even though Qin Feng was riding on his golden whirlwind wheels, the distance between them was gradually widening. "Master, if this goes on, ice crystal will escape." Little Pig was even more anxious than Qin Feng. The two-headed Wolfman King also chased after them on the snowy ground, but its speed was even slower. It had long since been left behind by Qin Feng and the 1,000-year ice crystal. "Little ice crystal, let's see where you can escape to now." In a fit of anger, Qin Feng got out of the hummingbird fighter. The fighter turned into a stream of light and flew across the snowy land. Gradually, it caught up to ice crystal. A strange energy wave rippled out. Qin Feng chased after the ice crystal while piloting the fighter jet. This time, the ice crystal couldn't escape. After struggling for a while, it was successfully subdued by Qin Feng. Qin Feng put away the fighter jet and landed on the snowy ground. He didn't know how long he had been chasing and he didn't know where he was. However, he didn't care about this. He hurriedly struck out with his palm. Waves of cold air shot out. The violent snowstorm suddenly surged violently. It seemed like it was going to freeze everything within 10,000 miles. Rumble. Qin Feng immediately struck out with his palm again. This time, purple flames rose in front of him. The flames melted the snowstorm and formed a vacuum zone. The fire and ice collided in the sky, forming a spectacular scene that was rarely seen in 100 years. Why did the extreme ice demon core in my body disappear? Qin Feng asked in confusion. Master already has the 1,000-year ice crystal. That ice crystal swallowed the extreme ice demon beast. Not only did the extreme ice demon core disappear, but the fire of destruction in Master's body also disappeared, Little Pig said. Qin Feng didn't pay attention to this before. Now that he looked carefully, he realized it was really as Little Pig said. However, he didn't take it to heart. Now that he had the purple dusk immortal fire and the 1,000-year ice crystal, the fire of destruction and extreme ice were really useless. Qin Feng also discovered many benefits of the purple dusk immortal fire. His alchemy skills had greatly improved, and the strength of his fire blade martial skill had also greatly increased. Master, this 1,000-year ice crystal doesn't have a name yet. You can name it yourself, Little Pig said. Qin Feng thought for a moment. This 1,000-year ice crystal is bone-chilling. A small piece of ice crystal can make the entire Extreme Ice City feel like winter all year round. Normal martial artists don't even dare to approach it. It's like falling into an ice cellar and suffocating. Let's call it suffocation. The 1,000-year ice crystal seemed to like this name very much. Qin Fen could feel the joy from it. Now, Qin Fen had a heaven and earth mysterious flame and a heaven and earth mysterious ice. His strength soared once again. After the 1,000-year ice crystal was subdued, the weather in Extreme Ice City suddenly changed. The feather-like snowstorm and surging cold wind disappeared. The bone-chilling Extreme Ice City no longer existed. It became a normal area like any other city. The sudden changes in Poison Sun City and Extreme Ice City had confused the sacred sects of the Divine Continent. No one knew what was going on. At this time, the culprit had already returned to the place where they had met the two-headed Wolfman King. The people from 100 Herb Hall were still waiting there. "Brother Qiao, it's really you. Are you all right? If you didn't come back, I was going to bring everyone to find you." Seeing Qin Fen return safely, the people of Bai Weizhen were relieved. Qin Feng didn't think that they would still be waiting here. A warm feeling rose in his heart. "Big brother Bai, I said it would be fine. You've seen my skills, that Blizzard King is nothing." "That's right, I've collected a lot of ice crystals, you guys can take them." Qin Fen casually waved his hand and the ice crystals instantly fell to the ground. The ice crystals piled up into a small mountain. The people of 100 Herb Hall were dumbfounded. Bai Weizhen now believed that Qin Fen had really defeated the Blizzard King. Otherwise, how could he have come back alive with so many ice crystals? However, he waved his hand to reject Qin Fen's good intentions. "How can I do that? These ice crystals were exchanged with Brother Qiao's life. You should keep them for yourself." Qin Fen wasn't a disciple that cultivated ice attribute skills. Moreover, he had already subdued the 1,000-year ice crystal. He didn't need the ice crystals at all. After Qin Fen's repeated persuasion, Bai Weizhen finally got his disciple to keep the ice crystals. He took out some pills for Qin Fen as repayment. Qin Fen didn't lack these pills, but to make Bai Weizhen feel more at ease, he accepted them. Qin Fen had subdued asphyxiation. He didn't plan to continue staying in Extreme Ice City. Bai Weizhen also didn't want to stay here any longer after being suppressed by Lei Shan and the other 3 sect masters. Everyone formed a team again. This time, they were leaving this place. Along the way, they discovered many changes. The snowstorm in Extreme Ice City suddenly stopped and the temperature gradually rose. It even made people think that this wasn't Extreme Ice City. "Young hero Qiao, this Extreme Frost City is really strange. The snowstorm has never stopped for the past few decades. Now, the weather has suddenly changed." Bai Weizhen couldn't help but mutter. Qin Fen didn't say much about the suffocation. Instead, he said, "Big Brother 100, don't go to Poison Sun City and Extreme Ice City to do your missions in the future. The weather in those 2 areas has changed, and they are no longer the Poison Sun City and Extreme Ice City." Bai Wei really didn't quite understand Qin Feng's words, but she still listened to his advice. The 2 of them separated at the teleportation formation that teleported them back to the North District of the Fire Beacon Hall. Qin Feng also told Bai Weizhen to visit the Celestial Spirits sect when he was free. If he encountered any trouble, he could go to the Celestial Spirits sect to look for him. After bidding farewell to the people of 100 Herb Hall, Qin Feng was not in a hurry to return to Immortal Spirit City. Instead, he swaggered towards the northern office of the Fire Beacon Hall. "Yo! Young swordsman Qiao is here. Come in and have a seat." Qin Feng bumped into WNG Lei as soon as he entered the hall. Seeing Qin Feng, WNG Lei felt guilty. He was afraid that this person had come to cause trouble for him. "Pa!" A crisp slap rang out. Qin Feng's slap landed on WNG Lei's face. This slap was extremely powerful. If WNG Lei's cultivation wasn't low, he would have been killed on the spot. "Stinking brat, you dare to cause trouble in the northern office of the Fire Beacon Hall?" Do you know who you hit? This is Deacon Wang of our northern office. When a fight broke out, 8 Fire Beacon Hall guards immediately rushed out from the hall. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't see these people. He stared coldly at Wng Lei. You dare to lie to me? Did you do it on purpose? Wng Lei's body trembled uncontrollably. He discovered that Qin Feng had become even more powerful after his trip to Poison Sun City. He hurriedly said, Young hero Qiao, please don't misunderstand. I only found out about that after the incident. It was that bastard Gao Yang who purposely sent your 3 friends to different mission locations in Poison Sun City. When I found out about this, you had already gone to Poison Sun City, so I had no way of finding you. Qin Feng had come because of this matter. He had asked Wng Lei to personally pull out the file. Wng Lei said that the 3 women were sent to the Fire Beast Battalion in Poison Sun City. In the end, the 3 women were sent to different locations. Qin Feng suspected that this matter was related to Wng Lei. The guards were somewhat puzzled. They thought to themselves, why is Deacon Wang being so subservient to a little brat? At this moment, there were many Holy Gate disciples lining up to receive missions. They were also shocked by this scene. Deacon Wang, this is the Fire Beacon Hall's office. You have such a high status. Why are you afraid of that stinking brat? That's right, Deacon Wang. As long as you say the word, we can. Before the guard could finish speaking, he was sent flying by a slap from Wng Lei. He was trying to think of a way to appease Qin Feng, but his subordinates were fanning the flames. Qin Feng couldn't be bothered to pay attention to those guards. These people weren't even worth a glance from him. They really weren't worth a glance, because one glance from Qin Feng could burn them to death. You really didn't know about this? Qin Feng saw that Wng Lei didn't seem to be lying. At this moment, Deacon E rushed over. It was as if Wng Lei had seen his savior. He hurriedly said, Young hero Qiao, I really didn't lie. If you don't believe me, you can ask Deacon E. Deacon E had just arrived and didn't understand the situation. He loved and hated Qin Feng at the same time. He loved that Qin Feng had a lot of cultivation resources. He hated that Qin Feng would cause trouble every time he came to the Fire Beacon Hall's office. Chapter 1469. More and more people gathered here. Everyone was shocked to find out that someone had beaten up a deacon in the Fire Beacon Hall. The group of Fire Beacon Hall guards stared coldly at Qin Feng. A few of them even had a playful look on their faces. Previously, Administrator Wang was very humble towards this person, but now that Administrator E was here, he would definitely teach this stinking brat who didn't know his place a lesson. What's going on here? There were too many onlookers, and Deacon Yi's expression was cold. He couldn't show his relationship with Qin Feng in public, lest people talk behind his back. The group of guards became even more confident. Someone stood up and said, Deacon E, that brat dared to cause trouble in the Fire Beacon Hall and beat up Deacon Wang. I hope Deacon E can teach that guy a lesson. Deacon E was speechless. Last time Qin Feng came to the Fire Beacon Hall, he beat up Wng Lei. Why did he beat up Wng Lei this time? Was Wng Lei asking for a beating? Before Deacon E could speak, Wng Lei angrily glared at the guard and said, Who said young hero Qiao hit me? Which eye of yours saw it? This has nothing to do with you. Go do what you need to do. The guard came to help Wng Lei out of kindness, but he was scolded again and again. He was a bit resentful, so he said to Deacon E, you see that Deacon Wang's brain isn't normal today. You should do justice. Wng Lei was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He slapped the guard and said, You idiot, you dare say there's something wrong with my brain? I think you're the one who doesn't get it. The guard felt so wrong that tears were about to fall. He angrily glared at Wng Lei, but he didn't even dare to let out a fart. Deacon E also complained in his heart that these guards were too nosy. Wng Lei had already told them to leave, but they were still standing here looking for trouble. "Alright, everyone disperse and do what you need to do. You two come with me, I'll personally take care of this." Deacon E said a few bureaucratic words and walked inside. The three of them came to his office. Wng Lei acted like a little brother and quickly poured tea for the two of them. Qin Feng didn't stand on ceremony at all. After entering the office, he sat down on a wooden chair. Deacon Yi's cold expression had long since disappeared. He looked at Qin Feng with a smile. "Young hero Qiao, why didn't you tell me that you were coming to the Fire Beacon Hall? I didn't even see you." Qin Feng knew very well why this old man was being so friendly. He wasn't being friendly to Qin Feng, but to Qin Feng's treasures. "Deacon E, I'm here for this matter. Not long ago, I went to the Fire Beast Battalion in Poison Sun City to look for 3 good friends. Unexpectedly, the 3 of them were teleported to 3 different locations by you. Was Wng Lei responsible for this?" Wng Lei, who had just walked over with a cup of tea in his hand, almost spilled the tea on the floor. Deacon E had yet to figure out the situation and asked, "Which 3 friends?" "Deacon E, they are the 3 women that Gao Yang mistakenly teleported to," Wng Lei quickly said. Ivan came to a sudden realization. He didn't think that these 3 women were Qin Feng's friends. No wonder Qin Feng was so angry today. This really isn't Deacon Wang's fault. At the time, Gao Yang was in charge of the teleportation formation for your 3 friends. Gao Yang had just come to the Fire Beacon Hall to do some work, so he wasn't familiar with the formation, so he made a mistake. Ivan smiled. Qin Feng knew that it wasn't a mistake, but Gao Yang did it on purpose. However, his main purpose this time was to find out if this matter had anything to do with Wng Lei. As for Gao Yang, he had already killed him. "Huh? Deacon Wang, where's that brat Gao Yang? I haven't seen him for a few days." Ivan suddenly frowned. Wng Lei was about to speak, but he saw Qin Feng's cold gaze. He was so scared that he immediately changed his words. "Deacon E, that guy ran away by himself. I don't know where he went." Ivan didn't care about a small fry like Gao Yang. If Qin Feng hadn't suddenly mentioned it, he wouldn't have bothered to ask. After finding out that this matter had nothing to do with Wng Lei, Qin Feng didn't stay in the Fire Beacon Hall for long. He directly rushed back to the Spiritual Immortal Sect. Su Ruoro and the other women reunited at the Spiritual Immortal Sect. At this moment, they were playing and fooling around. It was as if they had returned to the carefree life they had in Acropolis City's Hero City. This beautiful life was exchanged for by Qin Feng's hard work in breaking through. Seeing his women grow up safely and happily, Qin Feng was happier than anything else. He thought that after he brought Zhao Ling Xian and his mother back, he could return to China's secular world and live a peaceful life. Qin Feng. Su Ruoro saw him and ran over excitedly. The girls surrounded him like a flock of happy little birds. Happiness was always short-lived. After fooling around with the women for a while, Qin Feng went to the Thousand Shadows sect in Sky Region City by himself. A few days ago, he had promised Zhao Ling Xian that once he broke through, he would immediately bring her home. The women wanted to go with Qin Feng, but he stopped them. The Thousand Shadows sect's Qing Chen's sect leader was very powerful, and there would be a tough battle ahead. Qin Feng piloted the Hummingbird fighter and arrived at the Thousand Shadows sect after a few hours. Just as he reached the sect's entrance, he was stopped by a female disciple guarding the gate. "It's you? Why are you here again? Hurry and inform sect leader Qing Chen that Xiao Feng has come to the Thousand Shadows sect to cause trouble again." The women all recognized Qin Feng. Not long ago, he had single-handedly wreaked havoc in the Thousand Shadows sect and killed the Wind Sun Palace's genius eldest disciple, Feng Xian. This had enraged the Wind Sun Palace, and the Thousand Shadows sect was now in danger. After so many days, when Qin Fan once again stood on this piece of land, his vision and mentality had undergone an earth-shattering change. Looking at the Thousand Shadow sect surrounded by mountains, Qin Fan's heart was ignited with sparks of fire. I, Xiao Feng, have come to the Thousand Shadows sect to find Zhao Ling Xian. Anyone who stands in my way will die. He stood with his hands behind his back, his words shocking the crowd. The female disciples' expressions became cold. However, they had seen Qin Feng's powerful skills, so none of them dared to attack first. Seeing that the situation had become a stalemate, Qin Feng's patience ran out. Just as he was about to attack, a beautiful figure rushed over and hurriedly yelled, "Prince Qiao, please stop." Qin Feng finally stopped waving his hand in midair. He looked at the woman in front of him and said, "Miss Qing Xiu, it's best if you don't stop me. I'm here to take Ling Xian away, and no one can stop me." Qin Feng advised Qing Xiu to leave because he was acquainted with her, and Qing Xiu wanted Qin Feng to leave. Not long ago, Qin Feng had stepped into the Thousand Shadows sect, but he had been chased away by Qing Chen's sect leader. Only half a month had passed, so no one would think that Qin Feng had made successive breakthroughs. "Prince Qiao, ever since you wreaked havoc in the sect, Qing Chen's sect leader has placed Ling Xian under house arrest and is personally watching over her. Also, you killed the Wind Sun Palace's genius eldest disciple, Feng Xian. Now, the Thousand Shadows sect and Wind Sun Palace are working together to capture you. If you don't leave now, it'll be too late." Qing Xiu had taken the risk of being heavily punished to tell Qin Feng these words. Qin Feng appreciated her intentions, but how could Qin Feng leave so easily this time? "Miss Qing Xiu, say no more. I've already made up my mind, and no one can persuade me to leave. In a while, there will be a huge battle. I advise you to leave this place quickly, or else you'll be accidentally injured." Qin Feng had originally come with two plans. One was to negotiate and reconcile, and the other was to directly fight. After hearing Qing Xiu's words, Qin Feng realized that the first plan was impossible. Even if he didn't find trouble with the Thousand Shadows sect now, they would find him. Seeing that Qin Feng was as stubborn as a bull, Qing Xiu panicked and was at a loss. She wanted to say something more, but she heard a cold, angry roar in midair. "Xiao, you finally appeared. How dare you kill Feng Xian in my sect? I'll make sure you die a horrible death." Rumble. Before that roar could fade away, a huge explosion followed. Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly grabbed Qing Xiu and retreated a few steps. A huge crater appeared where the two of them had been standing. Qing Xiu's expression kept changing. She suddenly felt a chill in her heart. Was Qing Chen's sect leader going to kill her as well? Qin Feng shielded Qing Xiu behind him. His gaze was like a torch as he looked into the sky. A white figure flew over and landed 10 meters away from Qin Feng in a few breaths. It was the sect leader, Qing Chen. However, not long after Qing Chen landed, another white figure rushed over. As soon as she landed, she hurriedly shouted at Qin Feng, "Young hero Qiao, hurry and leave. You won't be able to take Zhao Ling Xian away." Qing Chen was so angry that her face was as white as frost. She said in a low voice, "Qing Bai, as the great elder of the Thousand Shadows sect, you've helped outsiders many times. What are your intentions?" Ever since Qin Feng had come, the two women had been at odds. Qing Bai stood expressionlessly at the side. "I have a clear conscience towards the Thousand Shadows sect. I just don't want to see you use someone else's happiness to exchange for the Thousand Shadows sect's temporary stability." Qing Chen was furious and almost roared, "If I didn't do this, the Thousand Shadows sect would have been kicked out of the Five Supremes position in China. When that happens, all the holy sects in China will come and bully us. Do you think Zhao Lingxian's sacrifice is not worth it? Qing Bai didn't agree with Qing Chen's twisted logic. She looked further. Do you really think that Lingxian will be fine if she marries into the Wind Sun Palace? The Wind Sun Palace's sect leader is not a kind person. I'm afraid he wants to use this marriage to control the Thousand Shadows sect and swallow our sect. Qing Chen was stunned. She had been too engrossed in the title of being one of the Five Supremes to think that much. However, her expression quickly turned cold. Now that the outcome had been decided, in order to appease the Wind Sun Palace, she had already agreed to marry Zhao Lingxian to another disciple of the Wind Sun Palace. There was no way she could go back on her word. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you. If you dare to interfere in this matter, don't blame me for disregarding our sisterhood. The vital energy around Qing Chen's body suddenly surged. She was ready to fight. Qing Bai hurriedly flew to Qin Feng's side and said indifferently, "Our sisterhood has long since disappeared. Today, I won't let you continue making mistakes." Qing Chen instantly felt as if she had been deserted by everyone. She blamed all of this on Qin Feng. If this brat hadn't appeared out of nowhere, they wouldn't have caused so much trouble. She stared coldly at Qin Feng as if she was looking at a dead man. Today, she had to destroy Qin Feng. Otherwise, there would be no end to this. However, before Qing Chen and Qing Bai could act, Qin Feng's indifferent voice rang out. "Elder Qing Bai, I appreciate your good intentions. However, today, I want to fight Qing Chen alone. You don't have to help. Just order the Thousand Shadows sect disciples not to interfere." Chapter 1470. As soon as Qin Feng finished speaking, the crowd was dumbfounded. Not long ago, he was beaten up by Qing Chen in the Thousand Shadows sect and had to flee. It had only been half a month. Had this guy forgotten? Young hero Qiao, don't try to show off. Without me, you can't beat her. Qing Bai was speechless. Qin Feng said seriously, "If I can't beat her, you can't either. You should back down." Qing Bai was furious. She thought to herself, why are you still acting cool at a time like this? Moreover, Zhao Lingxian is under house arrest in the technique cultivation room. Who are you acting cool for? Don't say any more. Hurry to the technique cultivation room and save Lingxian. I can only help you delay for 15 minutes. If you still haven't found Lingxian by then, leave by yourself. Qing Bai did not think much of Qin Feng. Half a month ago, Qin Feng was only at stage 7 essential Qi realm, but he couldn't even withstand one palm strike from her and Qing Chen. As soon as she finished speaking, Qing Bai struck out with her palm. Instantly, a strong wind howled in the air. Qing Chen's expression was cold as she struck out with her palm without backing down. Their palms collided in the air, creating a huge commotion as if a mountain was collapsing and the earth was cracking. The advantage of this palm strike was obvious. Qing Bai was a full stage lower than Qing Chen and was sent flying. However, Qing Chen did not look at her. She leaped above Qin Feng's head and struck out with her palm. It was as if a dark cloud was pressing down. "Die, brat!" A massive sound had already exploded above Qin Feng's head. Qing Xiu and Qing Bai watched impatiently. It was as if they could see Qin Feng being smashed into pieces by this palm. However, they saw two beams of purple light suddenly shoot into the sky and explode into a sea of purple flames. Rumble. The explosion of the purple flames was extremely violent. It even swallowed up the sound of Qing Chen's palm strike. Qing Chen's expression changed drastically. She hurriedly retreated, but she was too slow. Her white robe was ignited by the flames, burning her sleeves clean. The two of them had already exchanged blows for the first time, and they both retreated a few steps. Qing Feng stood with his hands behind his back as if nothing had happened. Qing Chen's robe was burned to pieces, revealing her snow-white skin. The crowd gasped. What's with the purple flames? Sect Master Qing Chen is actually injured? Did that guy do it? I feel that Xiao Feng's strength has broken through. His temperament is different from before. He's calm like water, delicate and refined, as if he's about to ascend to immortality. The crowd discussed among themselves, and even Qing Bai was shocked by Qin Feng's current strength. However, the appearance of the two purple flames was too sudden. It was as if they had appeared out of thin air. As a result, no one was sure if it was Qin Feng who had released them. Under the might of the mysterious flame, even Qing Chen felt flustered. She stood more than 20 meters away from Qin Feng and stared at him coldly. However, she did not make a move. Suddenly, Qing Chen said, "Earlier, the astronomical phenomenon changed, and a mysterious flame appeared. Otherwise, you would have died already." "Really? Then you can attack again. I will make your so-called sudden change in weather happen again." Qin Feng's voice was cold. Everyone was astonished. Could it be that Qin Feng really was responsible for the purple flames? Qing Chen was momentarily at a loss. However, as the Thousand Shadow Sect leader, how could she be afraid of Qin Feng? What a mystifying fellow. I'd like to see how you're going to change the weather. In the end, Qing Chen still attacked. Her speed was much faster than before. Her voice was still echoing in the air when she arrived above Qin Feng's head. However, before her attack could land, two rays of purple light shot out and were once again ignited by the purple flames in midair. A loud explosion shook the heavens and the earth. Qing Chen had been prepared and managed to escape unscathed this time. However, her heart was in turmoil. It seemed that the mysterious flame had really been released by Qin Feng. However, even she could not understand how Qin Feng had released the mysterious flame. He had not moved at all. Could it have been that it had been shot out from his eyes? Did he think he was the great sage with golden eyes? If Qing Chen could not understand, then the Thousand Shadow Sect disciples were even more confused. The girls' eyes widened and their mouths gaped. They all stood there like statues. "Old woman, now you know how powerful I am. I advise you to quickly release Zhao Ling Xian, and I can let bygones be bygones." After pressuring her, Qin Feng tried to reconcile. It was not that he was afraid of Qing Chen. After all, the Thousand Shadow Sect was his mother's sect, and Qin Feng did not want to become enemies with them. Moreover, Qing Xiu and Qing Bai were also disciples of the Thousand Shadow Sect. If they really fought to the point of death, everyone would be in a difficult position. However, Qing Chen did not back down. She had long been blinded by her power and had become a madwoman. "You want to defeat me with a mere mysterious flame? What a joke." Just as she spoke, Qing Chen's figure appeared. She was simply too fast. Even Qin Feng could not pinpoint her exact location. Qin Feng only felt a strong gust of wind behind him. Before he could react, he had already landed on the ground. This palm strike was simply too powerful. Qin Feng felt as if his bones were about to fall apart. He had a rough idea of this old woman's cultivation level. She was definitely above the early stage of Stage 9 Essential Qi. It was very likely that she had entered the middle stage. Whoosh! Seeing Qin Feng fall to the ground, Qing Chen did not hesitate at all. In a breath's time, she flew over and struck out with her palms again. The violent wind from her palms seemed to be able to destroy the ground. Qing Bai and Qing Xiu's hearts were in their throats again. Qin Feng hurriedly sent a palm strike towards the void. This palm strike seemed light and casual, but the moment it landed, the weather around them changed drastically. The sky that was originally scorching hot was plunged into a snowstorm. Wind and snow howled in all directions, giving Qingchen a fright. Her clothes were already in tatters. Now that she was in the middle of a blizzard, she felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. She could not help but shiver. Qingchen's speed clearly decreased. The strength of the wind from her palms was also neutralized by the blizzard. She looked at Qin Feng, who was standing upright in the blizzard, in disbelief. She realized that this person's strength had increased too quickly. Old woman, how is my blizzard? Is it very cool? Qin Feng leaped into the air. Not only was he not affected by the blizzard, but his speed also increased. Qingchen was infuriated. She hurriedly tried to escape from the blizzard. However, before she could do so, Qin Feng's spear had already landed. Stab, stab, stab. Instantly, thousands of spear lights flashed in the blizzard. It was as if thousands of beams of light pierced through the dark clouds. Qingchen's expression changed drastically. She could feel the might of these spear lights. They actually brought her a sense of danger. She did not have time to escape. She quickly struck out with her palms. More than 10 palm imprints exploded in the blizzard, causing the blizzard to lose its direction. When the spear lights collided with the palm imprints, they gave off a loud metallic sound. Most of them were blocked. Bang! However, there were still a few spear lights that pierced through the layers of obstructions and hit Qingchen's abdomen. With a loud sound, Qingchen fell to the ground like a kite with its string cut. This scene completely shocked everyone present. Sect leader Qingchen lost. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Sect leader Qingchen is a powerful martial artist at the middle stage of Stage 9 Essential Qi. That Xiao Feng is so young. How could he injure the sect leader? The hearts of the women were filled with shock. Even Qing Bai was shocked. However, Qin Feng did not stop at all. He flew towards Qingchen, who was on the ground, and slashed his saber again. Instantly, there was a loud sound. When the golden saber light, which was hundreds of meters long, sliced through the air, the crowd once again cried out in shock. Rumble! A huge crack appeared in the ground. It was as if a long dragon was lying on the ground. However, Qingchen's figure disappeared. Qin Feng looked around but could not find her. Young hero Qiao, be careful. She is using the Thousand Shadows sect's ultimate charm technique. Qing Bai suddenly shouted anxiously. Qin Feng frowned. He did not know much about charm techniques, but he knew that the Thousand Shadows sect had brought Zhao Ling Xian back to the Divine Prefecture because of her natural charm. Moreover, the system also sold charm techniques, but they were extremely expensive. From this, it could be seen that the charm technique was not simple. Rumble. Just as Qin Feng was guessing, a loud sound exploded in front of him. However, there was no one in front of him. Instead, he was sent flying by the violent aura. After landing, Qin Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. He did not have time to adjust his breathing. He hurriedly picked up Qin Feng and jumped up. Old woman, watch my saber. Qin Feng finally found Qingchen. This woman was standing at the entrance of the Thousand Shadows sect. However, the group of female disciples who had been standing there had disappeared. With a slash of the saber, Qingchen retreated into the Thousand Shadows sect. Qin Feng hurriedly chased after her. He felt that something was wrong, but he could not understand what was going on. Young hero Qiao, please stop. There is a cliff in front of you. Qing Bai's urgent shout caused Qin Feng to come to his senses. He looked in front of him again and discovered that there was a bottomless abyss under his feet. If he took half a step forward, he would definitely fall to his death. Master, you've fallen for that woman's charm technique. Little Pig said, actually, the illusion technique is a branch of the charm technique. When the charm technique is cultivated to the great success stage, one can easily cast an illusion and confuse the enemy. Qin Feng felt a lingering fear. He had almost been killed by that old woman, Qing Chen. Only now did he realize how powerful the Thousand Shadows sect was. As expected of one of the divine continent's 5 venerables. How many powerful venerables could resist this charm technique? Qin Feng hurriedly flew to a safe place. He did not dare to attack carelessly. Right now, he could not tell whether the scene in front of him was real or fake. It might even be an illusion set up by Qing Chen. Master, actually, it is not difficult to break the charm technique. As long as Master remains calm and unchanging, it will be fine. At the end of the day, this illusion technique only interferes with Master's brain waves. It will not hurt Master. If Master truly feels the danger of death, it means that the woman has made a move. At that time, Master can counterattack. After understanding the principles behind the charm technique, Qin Feng calmed down. He held the golden phoenix in his hand and stood motionless. Even though Qing Chen attacked him with her palm a few times, he did not care. This was because Qin Feng did not feel any danger during those attacks. They were all just illusions cast by Qing Chen. Time ticked by, and Qing Chen soon lost his patience. She realized that her charm technique seemed to have been seen through by Qin Feng. Left with no other choice, she suddenly flew over and struck him with her palm. Rumble. A deafening sound rang out. Qin Feng suddenly opened his eyes. This time, he felt an extreme sense of danger approaching. The moment he opened his eyes, 2 beams of purple fire shot out like 2 fire dragons soaring into the sky. Chapter 1471. Rumble. Loud explosions rang out incessantly. Purple flames filled the sky, looking as if they were going to burn the entire sky. Qing Chen had not expected this. She did not even have time to dodge before her figure was engulfed by the flames. The female disciples of the Thousand Shadow sect screamed in fear, and a few of them even flew forward to save Qing Chen. Even Qing Bai started to panic. After all, she, Qing Chen, and Qing Ying were sworn sisters. How could she watch Qing Chen die in front of her? Young hero Qiao, please stop. Sect leader Qing Chen is only thinking for the Thousand Shadow sect. She is not a bad person, Qing Bai hurriedly pleaded with Qin Feng. Qing Xiu also rushed forward. Young hero Qiao, please spare the sect leader this time. You have injured her, so you can take junior sister Ling Xian and leave. Now, everyone finally understood where the purple flames had come from. Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his eyes flickering with flames. This scene was beyond logic, and the disciples of the Thousand Shadow sect were dumbfounded. There were also a few female disciples who were more knowledgeable and exclaimed, "Half a step into the fairy realm? Young hero Qiao is actually half a step into the fairy realm?" Hearing the words, "half a step into the fairy realm," everyone's expressions changed. That was the most mysterious realm in the divine continent, and even sect leader Qing Chen could not see through it. Looking at Qin Feng, who was in his early 20s, they wondered if he had really stepped into such a mysterious realm. Even Qing Bai could not see through Qin Feng. Half a month ago, Qin Feng had been beaten by Qing Chen to the point that he could not even fight back. Half a month later, he stepped into the Thousand Shadow sect again, his eyes shooting out strange flames. His spear and his blade were so domineering that if she had not seen it with her own eyes, she would not have believed it. Swoosh! A strong wind blew, and the purple flames in the sky suddenly disappeared. Qin Feng's eyes returned to normal, and his black eyes were as clear as water. No one would have thought that they could still shoot out such a fierce flame. Qing Chen fell from the sky, her white clothes burned. However, this woman was not simple either. Her snow-white skin did not change at all, and Qin Feng did not know how she managed to do it. Qiao Feng, you dare to humiliate me? I'm going to perish together with you. Now that Qing Chen was completely naked, she immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. She no longer cared about her exposed body. She flew over and sent a palm strike at Qin Feng. Qing Chen's figure was very outstanding. This was especially so when she ran. Her breasts bounced up and down vigorously. Qin Feng could not bear to look at her for too long. He quickly stepped on his golden wheel and left. Bang, bang, bang. For a time, a series of explosions rang out again. Wherever Qin Feng passed, the ground would be filled with holes from the explosions. Old woman, don't you have any shame? Are you chasing me naked because you want me to see your body? Qin Feng was a little angry from being chased, so he deliberately said those words to anger her. There seemed to be a ball of fire burning above Qing Chen's head. The speed of his palms increased. His attacks were extremely ferocious, scaring the 1,000 Shadow Sect disciples into retreating 100 meters away. Suddenly, a white figure shot over and collided with Qing Chen's palm. Stop being so stubborn. Young hero Qiao spared your life. Do you really want to seek death? Qing Bai used all her strength to block Qing Chen. She even yelled at Qin Feng, who was flying in the air, young hero Qiao, I'll help you stop Qing Chen. Hurry and take Ling Xian away. Qin Feng did not bother with the old woman anymore. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a golden light and disappeared. The 1,000 Shadow Sect took up a large area. Apart from the various buildings in the main city, there was also a vast forest and mountainous terrain in the back mountain. However, Qin Feng knew that Zhao Ling Xian was in the main city's cultivation pavilion. As soon as he landed in front of the door, he yelled at her. Ling Xian, are you there? I'm Qin Feng. Qin Feng? Is it really you? I'm inside. Hurry and take me away. Soon, Zhao Ling Xian's choked voice came from inside. After finding out that she was going to be forced to marry into the Wind Sun Palace by Qing Chen, she had been washing her face with tears recently. Qin Feng hurriedly rushed into the room, but he was bounced back by a white light. Zhao Ling Xian seemed to have heard the commotion outside and hurriedly said, That's right, Qin Feng, Qing Chen set up a formation in this cultivation pavilion. Don't force your way in. Qin Feng already knew where the formation was. However, it was obvious that the formation had been set up at the last minute. Although it could stop Zhao Ling Xian, it couldn't stop Qin Feng. Ling Xian, step back. I'll break the formation, Qin Feng yelled. He waited for a moment. After confirming that Zhao Ling Xian was hiding in a safe place, he opened his eyes. 2 purple flames surged out, and a massive explosion sounded out at the door. The simple formation had been destroyed. As soon as the formation was destroyed, Zhao Ling Xian, dressed in white, rushed out. She threw herself into Qin Feng's arms and tightly hugged his waist. It was as if she never wanted to let go. Wu Qin Feng, I've finally been reunited with you. I've missed you every day for the past 3 months. Zhao Ling Xian sobbed. Qin Feng blamed himself. Ever since Zhao Ling Xian had been taken away, he had madly searched for her. He had even killed his way from the Chinese secular world to the divine continent. Now, he had finally found Zhao Ling Xian. However, 3 months had passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng could imagine the torment she had endured in the past 3 months. It's all right, Ling Xian. I won't let anyone take you away again. Qin Feng suddenly hugged her tightly. Zhao Ling Xian felt like she couldn't breathe. At this moment, Qing Chen, who was fighting at the entrance of the 1,000 Shadows sect, suddenly stopped. She looked towards the cultivation pavilion and sensed that the formation had been destroyed. This meant that Qin Feng had found Zhao Ling Xian. Xiao brat, if you dare to take Qing Ling Xian away today, I, Qing Chen, will definitely not forgive you. An angry roar reverberated in the air above the Thousand Shadows sect. It clearly came from hundreds of meters away, but it seemed as if it was right next to Qin Feng and Zhao Lingxian's ears. Zhao Lingxian was so scared that her face paled. At this moment, Qingbai yelled, "Young hero Qiao, hurry and take Lingxian away. Don't ever return to the Thousand Shadows sect, and don't fall into the hands of the Wind Sun Palace disciples." As soon as she finished speaking, the sound of a fierce battle rang out. Qin Feng stood at the top of the mountain and looked indifferently towards the entrance of the Thousand Shadows sect. He wasn't afraid of Qing Chen anymore. If it weren't for his mother, Qing Bai, and the others, he would have killed Qing Chen just then. Qin Feng had already left with Zhao Lingxian. Along the way, Zhao Lingxian sat on the back of her horse and tightly clung to Qin Feng's chest, unwilling to let go. She had come to the Thousand Shadows sect alone and endured in this unfamiliar place for 3 months. She didn't want to be separated from Qin Feng again. "Qin Feng, I want to go home," Zhao Lingxian muttered. "All right, I'll take you to Spirit Immortal City first. Your 8 good sisters are all there." Zhao Lingxian was stunned. 8 good sisters? Are you not the only one who came to the Divine Great Land? I originally came to find you alone, but Ruoro and the others also came. I arranged for them to stay in Spirit Immortal City, and they're all very safe now. Qin Feng gave a simple recount of what happened in the past 3 months. Zhao Lingxian listened with amazement. Her originally sad and aggrieved emotions immediately disappeared. In the end, Zhao Lingxian had not suffered much in these 3 months. She had stayed in the Thousand Shadows sect the entire time, and Master Qingbai had taken good care of her. Compared to what Qin Feng and Ruoro and the others had gone through, she suddenly felt that she was already very lucky. After Qin Feng left the Thousand Shadows sect's territory, he found a secluded place and drove the hummingbird fighter to take Lingxian back. Zhao Lingxian had stayed in the Divine Great Land for 3 months, so she knew very well what kind of place it was. There were no communication devices, no electronic devices, and most of the means of transportation were horses. However, Qin Feng was driving a fighter, which gave Zhao Lingxian quite a fright. When night fell, the 2 of them rushed back to Spirit Immortal City. When the women saw Qin Feng bring Zhao Lingxian back, they were so moved that their eyes welled up with tears. Qin Feng ordered that there would be a big party in the Spirit Immortal sect tonight. All the disciples of the sect would attend to celebrate his success in bringing back the 9 women. The atmosphere of the banquet was very lively. Qin Feng was surrounded by 9 beauties, and the Spirit Immortal sect disciples were all envious of him. Everyone started a bonfire party in the sect's open space. Everyone danced and drank together, and the atmosphere was as if they were celebrating the new year. Qin Feng was very happy tonight. He didn't think that he would drink and sing with Su Ruoro and the other women in the Divine Great Land until late at night. Zhao Lingxian helped Qin Feng back to his room. Su Ruoro and the other 8 women were very reasonable. When they found out that the 2 of them hadn't seen each other for a long time, they especially gave Qin Feng to Zhao Lingxian. The 2 of them were very passionate, and as soon as they entered the room, they started fighting fiercely. Zhao Lingxian had more or less learned some charm techniques in the Thousand Shadows sect. Now, she was even more charming and moving. Every frown and smile could steal the hearts and souls of thousands of men. They fought until early in the morning. Zhao Lingxian lay weakly in Qin Feng's arms. "Qin Feng, if you had come a day later, I would have been forced to marry into the Wind Sun Palace." Qin Feng's expression turned cold. "That old woman, Qing Chen, forced you to marry into the Wind Sun Palace today?" Zhao Lingxian realized that Qin Feng was angry. She understood Qin Feng very well and was deeply afraid that Qin Feng would go to the Wind Sun Palace to take revenge for her. "Forget it. Anyway, I've escaped from the Thousand Shadows sect. I won't bring this up again." However, Qin Feng wouldn't let the Wind Sun Palace off so easily. He had originally planned to accompany the women for a few more days before going to the Wind Sun Palace to take revenge. Now, it seemed that he would have to leave today. However, Qin Feng didn't reveal his plan. He was afraid that Zhao Lingxian and Su Ruoro would worry. The Wind Sun Palace was one of the 5 supreme sects of the Divine Great Land. Its current power and status were much higher than the Thousand Shadows sects, so they wouldn't be easy to deal with. That's right, Lingxian, have you found any information about my mother from the Thousand Shadows sect? Qin Feng changed the topic. Back when they were still in the secular world of China, Qin Feng had asked martial artists to help him find out about Qing Ying. Zhao Lingxian and the other women all knew about this. I only found out later that I joined the Thousand Shadows sect. I immediately asked Master Qing Bai. She's Granny's good sister, but she doesn't want to talk about Granny. Zhao Lingxian affectionately called Qing Ying Granny, and continued, however, I heard that Granny disappeared from the Thousand Shadows sect 2 years ago. It seems that she was taken away by a mysterious person. At the time, the Thousand Shadows sect master was Senior Qing Zun, and Senior Qing Zun's favorite disciple was Granny Qing Ying. Qing Zun abandoned the Thousand Shadows sect to look for Granny on her own. However, there's still no news of her. Chapter 1472. Qin Feng already knew what Zhao Lingxian knew. He wanted to find some time to go to the Thousand Shadows sect and find Qing Bai to ask about his mother. In China, there were 8 independent cities: Distant Ice City, Meteor City, Sky Region City, Clearwater City, 5 Poison City, Yellow Sand City, Cloud City, and Ocean City. However, Distant Ice City and Meteor City had been merged by Qin Feng to form Spirit Immortal City. After Qin Feng coaxed Zhao Lingxian to sleep, he rushed to Cloud City alone because the location of the Wind Sun Palace was in Cloud City. Compared to Sky Region City, Cloud City was closer to Spirit Immortal City. It only took Qin Feng 2 hours to land in Cloud City. There were many holy sects on this land, but the Wind Sun Palace was the leader. Because of the Wind Sun Palace's reputation as one of the 5 supremes, the Cloud City was more famous than the other cities. Logically speaking, only disciples of the sect could find the location of the holy sects. Qin Feng had found the Thousand Shadows sect by secretly following Qing Xiu and the others. However, he found out the location of the Wind Sun Palace from Zhao Lingxian in the morning. Because Zhao Lingxian was going to be married to the Wind Sun Palace today, he heard the location from Qing Chen. After asking around and searching, Qin Feng finally arrived at a desolate area. Holy sects usually like to choose remote mountains and forests like this. Firstly, they wouldn't be disturbed. Secondly, these places hid spirit veins and had denser spiritual qi. Qin Feng followed the density of spiritual qi and found the Wind Sun Palace. The sect occupied a vast area, comparable to Qin Feng's Hero City in Acropolis City in China's secular world. The outer walls of the Wind Sun Palace were decorated with lanterns and streamers, as if there was a joyous occasion today. At the entrance of the sect, a few disciples guarding the gate were having a heated discussion. It's almost time. Senior brother Feng Hua will be coming out soon. I'm so envious of senior brother Feng Hua. I heard that the Thousand Shadows sect's most talented disciple is getting married. Not only is she extremely talented, she's also a fairy-like beauty. Stop dreaming. Senior brother Feng Hua and Spirit Immortal of the Thousand Shadows sect are a perfect match. We're not good enough for Spirit Immortal. Everyone shook their heads and sighed, but a disciple suddenly laughed and said, "Don't be sad, everyone. Although we can't play with a talented girl like Qing Lingxian, after she marries into the Wind Sun Palace, the Thousand Shadows sect will have a close relationship with the Thousand Shadows sect." The Thousand Shadows sect is an orthodox sect for female cultivators, and they have countless beautiful disciples. As soon as this person spoke, the dejected crowd immediately perked up. Another person said, I heard that the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect all cultivate the charm technique. Once they reach the small success stage, it will give the women a unique aura that is very attractive to men. If I can really get a female disciple of the Thousand Shadows sect, then I won't have to worry about my sexual happiness for the rest of my life. At the mention of seduction techniques, the disciples became even more excited. However, halfway through their smiles, they immediately became wary. Kid, who are you? It turned out that someone had come, and it was a stranger. Qin Feng stood at the entrance of the Wind Sun Palace, and his gaze swept across the crowd indifferently. He heard every word of their conversation, and to him, these people were already dead. Is this the Wind Sun Palace? Qin Feng asked. One of the tall and strong disciples angrily rebuked, You little brat, don't ask questions that you shouldn't ask. I advise you to leave this place as soon as possible, or else you will attract a calamity. Qin Feng smiled without saying a word. Another disciple coldly said, This guy is probably a disciple from another sacred sect. He actually discovered the location of our Wind Sun Palace, so we can't let him go. Capture him and wait for the great elder to deal with him. Everyone nodded in agreement with that disciple's words. The tall and strong man who spoke first had already swung his fists, and the instant he punched out, loud sounds could be heard. His fists were so fast that they created afterimages. Seeing that this person had made his move, the other disciples simply stood where they were and looked at Qin Feng with a playful smile, as if that person could capture Qin Feng. Seeing that the wind from the fist was about to graze Qin Feng's body, Qin Feng still stood in the same place without moving an inch. Just when everyone was astonished, a loud explosion suddenly sounded out. A ball of purple fire suddenly appeared on the ground, causing everyone to immediately retreat several steps in fright. Rumble. Under the loud sound, the disciple who had swung his fists had already been blown to pieces, and he vanished with a gust of wind. The disciples of the Wind Sun Palace were dumbfounded, and no one could recover from their shock for a long time. It seems like this is really the Wind Sun Palace. Very well, I am here to exterminate this sect today. Before the shock from before had subsided, Qin Feng's words once again shocked the crowd. These disciples had been in the Wind Sun Palace for several years, and some had even stayed for more than 10 years. However, they had never encountered anyone who dared to cause trouble for the Wind Sun Palace alone. This was one of the 5 supremes of the Divine Continent. Unless one was tired of living, no one would dare to cause trouble here. Brat, you dare to cause trouble in the Wind Sun Palace? Are you tired of living? Today is the big day of the Wind Sun Palace's genius disciple, Senior Brother Feng Hua. I advise you to leave quickly, or else I won't be polite to you. Everyone was shocked by Qin Feng's move, and they lost their confidence. They really didn't dare to let Qin Feng stay any longer, afraid that they would be the next one to explode. When Qin Feng heard the word big day, he was instantly enraged. The moment he opened his eyes, a purple flame exploded into a sea of fire, and the 8 disciples standing at the entrance of the sect were instantly turned into ashes. What's going on over there? Questions came from the sect, and Qin Feng could see dozens of disciples rushing over from afar. However, he acted as if he didn't see these people and swaggered into the Wind Sun Palace. The massacre had just begun. Not good, someone is causing trouble in the Wind Sun Palace, quickly take him down. The 3 disciples who arrived first had already realized the danger, and the 3 of them swung their fists at Qin Feng at the same time. However, their figures had only jumped halfway when they were ignited by the purple flame in midair. With a loud bang, the 3 disciples at the 5th stage of Qi cultivation were turned into ashes. The disciples who arrived later were stunned and forgot to continue forward. Qin Feng maintained a pace that was neither fast nor slow as he walked step by step towards the depths of the Wind Sun Palace. Brat, who are you? This is the Wind Sun Palace, you are not allowed to take even half a step forward. Quickly inform the great elder, someone is causing trouble in the sect. There were more than 30 disciples who rushed over, but they stood far away and didn't dare to rashly approach Qin Feng. Some of the more daring disciples shouted some harsh words, but they didn't receive any reply from Qin Feng. Swish! A sudden gust of wind blew, and Qin Feng leaped into the sky. He stood on a pair of golden wheels and wore the domineering golden rock celestial sovereign armor. His entire body flickered with rays of golden light, as if he was a deity that had descended to the mortal world. The disciples of the Wind Sun Palace looked up at the sky with their mouths wide open. But at this moment, Qin Feng's hands quickly struck out, and each strike brought along a purple flame that fell to the ground. In an instant, the entrance of the Wind Sun Palace was enveloped in a sea of fire. The disciples at the 5th stage of Qi cultivation were instantly blown up, and the disciples at the 6th stage of Qi cultivation had just regained their senses when they were turned into ashes by the purple dusk celestial fire. Even the experts at the 7th stage of Qi cultivation couldn't withstand a single blow, and only a few disciples at the 8th stage of Qi cultivation reacted in time to avoid the sea of fire. But their clothes had all been burned, and they were standing to the side naked. Qin Feng's first move was earth-shattering. He exploded a ball of purple dusk celestial fire on the ground of the Wind Sun Palace to vent the anger in his heart. Under his furious attack, only 5 of the more than 30 disciples who rushed over were left gasping for breath. The rest of the disciples had already been turned into ashes by the fire. Feng Zi, what's going on here? At this moment, another group of disciples rushed over. The man leading the group was wearing a red brocade robe and a tall red hat on his head. He was dressed like a bridegroom in ancient times. When they saw this person, the 5 disciples were startled and ran over as if they had seen their savior. Senior brother Feng Hua, someone came to the Wind Sun Palace to cause trouble. One of them said with a trembling voice. Feng Hua's expression changed, and he looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. He clearly didn't expect that someone would dare to cause trouble at the Wind Sun Palace. This person must be tired of living. Stinking brat, today is my wedding day, and you dare to cause trouble? Feng Hua shouted at Qin Feng. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent, and he looked at Feng Hua as if he was looking at a dead man. Do you know who I am? I'm Qing Ling Xian's man. When he said this, Feng Hua and the others were stunned. Everyone knew that today was Feng Hua's wedding day, and they also knew that he was going to marry the female disciple of the Thousand Shadows sect, Qing Ling Xian. Now, a man suddenly appeared and said that he was Qing Ling Xian's man. This was a blatant slap to Feng Hua's face. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Feng Hua's expression was ferocious, and he had already swung his fist toward Qin Feng. The Wind Sun Palace mainly cultivated fist techniques, and the disciples' fist techniques were extremely exquisite. Feng Hua was Feng Xian's younger brother. Now that Feng Xian was dead, he became the #1 genius disciple of the Wind Sun Palace. As he swung his fists, dozens of fist prints whistled in the void. All the disciples were excited. They seemed to see the scene of senior brother Feng Hua defeating Qin Feng. Suddenly, they heard a loud explosion. Before Feng Hua could get close to Qin Feng, he was suddenly blown up in a purple flame. Boom! The explosion continued, and the disciples were completely shocked. They didn't even see Qin Feng make a move, and senior brother Feng Hua, who was at the 7th stage of true Qi, was already dead. The atmosphere suddenly froze, and no one dared to stand out to provoke Qin Feng. The disciples who came with Feng Hua were even trembling in fear. If they still had strength in their legs, they would definitely turn around and run. I'm Qiao Feng of the Spirit Celestial Sect. Today, I'm here to avenge my beloved wife, Zhao Ling Xian. If you don't want to die, leave this place immediately. After Qin Feng killed Feng Hua, he didn't even bother to look at the fire. He looked around arrogantly at the crowd. Everyone was shocked. As disciples of the Wind-Sun Palace, they had always been domineering, and it was always them who bullied others. Who would have thought that they would be bullied by others today? Chapter 1473. Nowadays, the name of the Celestial Soul sect had resounded throughout the land. As disciples of the Wind-Sun Palace, everyone had heard of it. However, they did not take the Celestial Soul sect seriously at all. How could a newly famous sect compare to the Wind-Sun Palace that had been famous for a long time? However, when the people from the Celestial Soul sect really came, these disciples realized how terrifying it was. More than 10 disciples of the Wind-Sun Palace stood on the empty ground. They were hesitant, not knowing whether to leave or stay. At this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew, and several black figures rushed out from the depths of the sect. Who dares to cause trouble in the Wind-Sun Palace? You must be tired of living. Today is the joyous day of the Fenghua disciples. Whoever spoils this joyous occasion will be killed. A few voices came from the sky. There were many people rushing over. While the voices were still echoing in the air, 8 black figures had already landed and stood in a row like 8 towering mountains. Qin Feng scanned the people who came. These people were all above 40 years old. They were obviously the junior and senior elders of the Wind-Sun Palace. When they saw the people who came, the eyes of the disciples who were in fear immediately lit up, as if they had seen their savior. Martial Uncle Feng Chao, that brat came to cause trouble in the Wind-Sun Palace. He said he wanted to start a massacre. A disciple had already reported the situation. When he said this, the expressions of the 8 elders changed drastically. They looked at Qin Feng as if they were looking at an idiot. This young ant dared to cause trouble in the Wind-Sun Palace? Moreover, he had come alone. Humph. He really doesn't know his place. Leave this brat to me. You guys go and take care of the Fenghua disciples' wedding. A middle-aged man in his 40s walked out from the 8 people. His green robe fluttered in the wind. He had the lowest status among the 8 people. He was only a junior elder of the Wind-Sun Palace. When they saw this person, the other 7 elders stood to the side. It seemed that he alone was enough to take down Qin Feng. However, before the junior elder could make a move, the disciple hurriedly said, "Elder Feng Yun." Feng, senior brother Fenghua was killed. Whoosh! In an instant it was as if a bolt of lightning had struck the 8 elders. Feng Hua and Feng Xian weren't just disciples of the Wind-Sun Palace. They were also the illegitimate children of the sect master, Daoist Feng. However, only the elders knew about this. As for the disciples, they didn't know about it at all. Now that 2 of the sect leaders' illegitimate sons had been killed, the 8 elders were frightened out of their wits. If sect leader Feng were to find out about this, he would definitely fly into a rage. "You ant, I'm going to tear you to pieces." Feng Yun was infuriated and swung his fist at Qin Feng. In an instant, the air was filled with the sound of firecrackers. Feng Yun had only waved his hand, but he had already created hundreds of fist imprints in front of him. They were like sharp arrows shooting towards Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng didn't move an inch. Even Feng Yun's eyes flashed with surprise. At this moment, 2 balls of purple fire surged towards them. When Feng Yun and Feng Yun regained their senses, they were already in the middle of the flames. He heard a loud explosion next to his ear, and in the next moment, he was blown to pieces. Rumble. The sounds of explosions rang out one after another, and it would be difficult for them to stop in a short while. The group of disciples once again witnessed the power of the purple fire. They were so frightened that they couldn't stand still. The other 7 elders were also dumbfounded. They didn't even understand where the purple fire came from. Yet, a young elder at the early stage of true Qi level 9 had fallen just like that? The reality before their eyes was hard to accept. Even in the divine continent, a place of cultivation rich with spiritual energy, there were very few revered martial artists who could step into level 9 true Qi. Any one of them could dominate an area, but now, they had become cannon fodder. You dare kill an elder of my sect? Hand over your life. Even though they had witnessed Qin Feng's power, by the time they regained their senses, another 2 minor elders attacked at the same time. These 2 were also level 9 true Qi. Their first attack was a killing move. In an instant, hundreds of ferocious fist imprints appeared in the air. Qin Feng still stood in the same place. In the blink of an eye, 2 balls of purple fire shot out. It was as if 2 long dragons were whizzing out. In an instant, the fist imprints in front of him were burned to ashes. Rumble. The sound of an explosion shook the heavens. This time, the 2 minor elders were prepared. When they saw the purple fire appear again, they hurriedly retreated without a second thought. However, Qin Feng was also prepared. He waved his hand, and a dazzling golden long blade appeared in his originally empty palm. The instant the blade landed, the 2 elders who were fleeing in mid-air were instantly blasted into pieces of flesh and blood that scattered everywhere. The atmosphere turned cold again and again. At this moment, it had reached the freezing point. How long had it been? Yet, 3 level 9 revered martial artists had fallen. Under normal circumstances, the entire divine continent wouldn't lose more than 3 level 9 revered martial artists in a year. The remaining 5 elders finally came to their senses. Their eyes were spitting fire, but there was a hint of fear hidden within. Who are you? Why did you come to our Wind Sun Palace to cause trouble? The white-haired elder spoke. He was the great elder, Feng Chao, who had the highest position among the remaining 5. Qin Feng faced the group of revered martial artists, but he looked down at them with disdain. His voice was indifferent. I am Qiao Feng, a disciple of the Celestial Souls sect. Today, I came to destroy the Wind Sun Palace. Knowing that Qin Feng was from the Celestial Souls city, the expressions of the 5 elders changed. But very quickly, Feng Chao came to his senses and suddenly threw a punch. Arrogant brat, let this old man teach you a lesson. Rumble. Before the elder finished speaking, the sound of the punch had already exploded on Qin Feng's body. This old man was too fast. 1 second, he was still more than 10 meters away from Qin Feng, but the next moment, he landed on Qin Feng's chest. The force of the punch was even more ferocious. It directly sent Qin Feng flying dozens of meters away. The moment he landed, a human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. Feng Chao's punch landed, but he did not pursue. On the other hand, the other 2 elders flew over like 2 nimble swallows. Just as the 2 of them arrived above Qin Feng's head, they swung their fists at the same time. A wave of fist prints fell rapidly and densely like a rain of sharp arrows. It was as if they were going to destroy the world. Rumble. The loud sound seemed to have come a little too early. Qin Feng threw a few palm strikes in mid-air. Immediately, the weather changed drastically. A violent snowstorm suddenly swept up, engulfing the 2 elders. The snowstorm was so huge that it even blocked the 2's vision. Their fist prints had long been blocked by the snowstorm. The temperature plummeted, causing the 2 to shiver from the cold. Even the speed at which they swung their fists slowed down. Careful, retreat quickly, Feng Chao's anxious shout came from afar. The old man had already seen the hidden danger in the snowstorm. However, he had only shouted halfway when a red spear light appeared in the snowstorm. Suddenly, the 2 of them were pierced through by thousands of arrows. Rumble. Amidst the sound of the explosion, the 2 of them turned into flesh and blood that scattered on the ground. This time, even great elder Feng Chao was dumbfounded. The two elders had the strength of stage 9 true Qi realm. How could they be killed at the same time? Qin Feng landed on the ground and panted heavily. After continuously activating the purple cloud immortal fire and suffocating, he was somewhat unable to bear it. As for the two elders at the middle stage of the 9th level of true Qi, it could be said that they were lucky to be killed. Firstly, the two of them had underestimated Qin Feng. Secondly, Qin Feng's suffocation came suddenly and strangely, catching them off guard. The crowd of Wind Sun Palace disciples was so frightened that they did not dare to breathe. Even the other two elders were panicking. The two of them were also in the stage 9 true Qi realm. If they really made a move, wouldn't they also be killed by Qin Feng? All of you, stand down. Let me deal with this guy. In the end, Great Elder Feng Chao stood up. Qin Feng looked at the old man with a serious expression. Among everyone present, he was the most worried about this person. You do have some ability. Unfortunately, in my hands, only death awaits you. Feng Chao's old eyes were cold. Qin Feng could not see through this person's realm, but he knew that it had definitely surpassed the stage 9 true Qi realm. The aura on his body was even more majestic than Qing Chen's, giving people the feeling that they were looking up at a mountain. Since Qin Feng had stepped into the Wind Sun Palace, he came with the mentality of a bloody battle. He did not waste words with Feng Chao and took the initiative to strike with his saber. Rumble. The golden saber light that was hundreds of meters long fell to the ground, blasting a deep crack in the ground. The disciples were so scared that they covered their heads and scurried away. Some of them did not manage to escape in time and directly exploded in the saber light. Feng Chao leaped lightly and dodged the surging saber light. His casual leap turned into a sharp arrow that shot out. Just as Qin Feng's saber was about to land, a palm strike landed and sent him flying. This seemingly light palm strike was like a speeding train crashing into Qin Feng. Qin Feng was like a kite with a broken string, swaying in the air. Before he landed, Feng Chao's figure appeared and punched the air again. Rumble. First, there was a loud explosion. Then, hundreds of fist imprints shot out from Feng Chao's old fist. Each of the fist imprints was filled with violent true Qi. If all of them landed on Qin Feng's body, he would definitely be blown up in an instant. Arrow. Qin Feng roared. A long arrow shot out from the sky. It was like a divine arrow falling from the sky. Qin Feng was already holding a purple battle bow in his hand. Once the cloud-piercing arrow was in his hand, he fired it. Rumble. The arrow seemed to pierce through the entire sky. The hundreds of fist prints were pierced by the cloud-piercing arrow like tofu. Finally, it pierced through Feng Chao's right arm. The arrowhead of the cloud-piercing arrow carried purple flames. The flames roasted Feng Chao's wound, and a pungent smell of blood and burnt flesh wafted out. Stinking brat, I want you to die a horrible death. Feng Chao had forgotten how long it had been since he was injured and how long it had been since he saw his own blood. He was completely enraged. Like a mad lion, he punched out. Qin Feng's figure instantly froze in the air. After taking a breath, he fell to the ground like a meteor. Rumble. There was a huge sound when he landed. It was like a plane crashing. Feng Chao did not give him any chance to breathe. He followed like a shadow. Your arrow flew away. Let's see what other trump cards you have. Just as the fist prints were about to hit the ground, he heard Qin Feng roar, Arrow, come. Amidst the whistling wind, a long arrow shot out from the sky. Feng Chao was stunned. He looked at the divine arrow that returned to Qin Feng's hand in disbelief. However, just as he was stunned, Qin Feng drew his bow and shot the arrow. It was like a meteor streaking across the sky. Chapter 1474. Rumble. The moment the cloud-piercing arrow left his hand, it surged forward with a momentum that could break the sky. Feng Chao's expression changed, and his old eyes flashed with fear. He was too late to dodge. The cloud-piercing arrow was too fast, and it pierced through his abdomen. Feng Chao was sent flying 100 meters away. Qin Feng was also heavily injured, and he was sitting on the ground, trying to stabilize his chaotic qi. The disciples' eyes fell to the ground. Even the great elder was no match for this person. This person looked to be in his early 20s. When did such a strong person appear in the divine continent? Feng Chao was fierce enough to not die after being pierced through the abdomen by the cloud-piercing arrow. He could even sit on the ground and yell, "That kid is only at the early stage of Qi stage 9. He just has a lot of treasures on him. I've already injured him. You guys go kill him." Feng Chao was still heavily injured, and he ordered the other two elders to attack. The two of them resisted in their hearts, but they did not dare to disobey Feng Chao's orders. A gust of wind blew, and the two of them were already walking on the wind. One of them jumped into the air, and the other punched the ground. Suddenly, the area in front of Su Yan was covered in fist prints. "You're looking for death." Qin Feng could not care about the chaotic qi in his body. When he opened his eyes, 2 balls of purple fire exploded in the air. The elder in the air was so scared that he immediately retreated, but the elder on the ground took the opportunity to punch Qin Feng. Rumble. Qin Feng swayed in the air again, and the elder immediately chased after him. Just as he was about to punch Qin Feng's head, he saw a ray of light flash by, and before he could react, his chest was pierced by a cloud-piercing arrow. Rumble. The elder's body stopped in the air for a second, and then exploded like fireworks. Qin Feng had already fallen to the ground. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood, but he still forced his body to stand up. 2 balls of purple fire appeared in his eyes, as if he was a demon that walked out of hell. Arrow! Qin Feng roared. The other elder realized the danger, and hurriedly jumped on the empty ground. Qin Feng held the skyhawk bow, and pulled the cloud-piercing arrow. The moment he let go, a gust of wind blew, and the cloud-piercing arrow shot through the elder's head like a shooting star. Rumble. Loud noises rose and fell. The entrance of the Wind-Sun Palace was littered with corpses, and the majority of those lying on the ground were experts at the 9th level of true Qi. As for the disciples with even lower strength, they were directly burnt to ashes by the purple dusk immortal fire. Someone suddenly fell to the ground, unable to withstand the pressure brought by Qin Feng. There were also a few disciples from the Wind-Sun Palace who started to run for their lives. However, before they could get far, they were blown up by Feng Chao's fist wind. Feng Chao stood up again. The bloody hole in his abdomen had actually healed by more than half. However, there was still a fist-sized hole. It was a hair-raising sight. Feng Chao didn't care about his injuries and suddenly punched at Qin Feng. This punch contained all the true qi in his body, and the weather changed. The fist imprints were as dense as dark clouds, and they shot towards Qin Feng at lightning speed. Arrows. Qin Feng didn't have time to think and hurriedly shot an arrow. This time, the piercing cloud arrow didn't completely pierce through the black cloud. Qin Feng immediately brandished his spear again. Suddenly, thousands of spear lights shot out. Many spear lights pierced through the black cloud and landed on Feng Chao's body. However, the black cloud didn't dissipate. In the end, it landed on Qin Feng's chest. Rumble. The loud noises caused by the two of them didn't stop. Feng Chao's abdomen was pierced by the spear lights. The previously healed wound split open again. Qin Feng wasn't much better. When he was attacked by the black cloud, he almost vomited out all of his internal organs. The two of them fell to the ground and didn't get up for a long time. This was the best time to kill Qin Feng. He didn't even have the strength to stand up. However, none of the disciples from the Wind Sun Palace dared to take half a step forward. Feng Chao was infuriated by their cowardice, but at this moment, he couldn't even say a word. Qin Feng also couldn't continue fighting. However, he forced himself to shout, "Old man, today is the anniversary of your death." Feng Chao sneered, "You alone can't kill me." Rumble. Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly stared at the sky with his eyes wide open. A huge body fell from the sky. It was unknown what kind of monster it was. The moment it landed, the ground shook, and it sent Feng Chao flying into the air. Roar! The giant winged fire demon roared and slapped out with its palm, breaking Feng Chao's waist. However, before those disciples could react, the fire demon suddenly disappeared as if it had never appeared. Where is he? Is he not here? After a long time, someone finally came to his senses. He discovered that other than the mess of blood and flesh, Qin Feng and the huge beast that had just appeared were nowhere to be seen. Everyone came to their senses one after another. Someone suddenly cried out, "Oh no, senior brother Fenghua and the 8 elders were killed by Qiao Feng. Quickly, report to the sect leader, today was a joyous day for the Wind Sun Palace." No one would have thought that a joyous event would turn into a funeral. When they thought back to the battle earlier, they still felt a lingering fear. The shock that Qin Feng brought to everyone was too intense. At this moment, the severely injured Qin Feng had already gone to the Immortal Island. He was sitting under the fire demon tree to heal his injuries. This time, he stepped into the Wind Sun Palace and killed the 8 elders in one fell swoop. It could be considered as him venting the anger in his heart. However, he did not continue fighting because the sect leader of the Wind Sun Palace had yet to appear. Qin Feng felt that he was currently not Taoist Feng's match. In the Wind Sun Palace, a group of disciples stood cautiously at the entrance with their heads lowered. In front of them stood a white-haired elder. It was the sect leader of the Wind Sun Palace, Taoist Feng. Taoist Feng stood with his hands behind his back. He was not angry, but he exuded an imposing aura. His white robe fluttered even though there was no wind. His surging true energy made it difficult for everyone to breathe. Looking at the corpses and flesh on the ground, Taoist Feng gritted his teeth in anger. He even suspected that his eyes were playing tricks on him. Who in the divine continent would dare to cause trouble for the Wind Sun Palace? And he had killed 8 elders in a row. Who did this? Taoist Feng roared angrily. The crowd was so frightened that they almost knelt down. A bold disciple said with a trembling voice, "Sect leader, it was done by an ordinary disciple of the divine immortal sect. That person's name is Qiao Feng." Qiao Feng's name was now somewhat famous in the divine continent. However, with Taoist Feng's status, he clearly did not care about those rumors. This was the first time he heard Qiao Feng's name. A hint of surprise flashed across his face. However, it was not because of Qiao Feng, but because of his title as an ordinary disciple. An ordinary disciple of the divine immortal sect killed 8 of our sect's elders? Are you idiots or retarded? Taoist Feng was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. He did not believe that Qin Feng was an ordinary disciple. Sect leader, I'm afraid that brat is really an ordinary disciple of the divine immortal sect. He looks to be in his early 20s, the bold disciple continued. This time, Taoist Feng was completely stunned. A youth in his early 20s had single-handedly killed his way into the Wind Sun Palace and killed 8 elders in one fell swoop. Among them was Elder Feng Chao, who was in the late stage of true energy stage 9. Even if he heard it with his own ears, Taoist Feng still could not believe it. But he knew that this was the truth, because how could these disciples before him dare to lie to him? For a moment, Taoist Feng's mind was in a mess. He was thinking about the spiritual immortal sect. Was this newly established sect in the divine Great Land really that powerful? After a long time, Taoist Feng suddenly roared, "This matter is not to be spread. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy." The disciples hurriedly nodded their heads. Who would dare to go against the sect leader's wishes? Now that the 8 elders and a group of genius disciples of the Feng Sun Palace had been killed, their strength was far from what it used to be, and they were almost unable to meet the requirements of the 5 venerables of the divine prefecture. If this matter were to spread, the consequences would be unimaginable. After giving the order, Taoist Feng suddenly said, "Now that the power of the Wind Sun Palace has weakened, the marriage alliance with the Thousand Shadows sect must be carried out. Where is Feng Hua? Tell him to go to the Thousand Shadows sect and bring that female disciple over." Taoist Feng had already scanned the corpses on the ground, but he did not find Feng Hua. This made him feel somewhat relieved. A disciple said, "Sect leader, Brother Feng Hua, was killed." Taoist Feng's expression froze and he roared, "What? Who killed him?" It's that ordinary disciple of the Celestial Souls sect called Xiao Feng." Taoist Feng was so furious that he almost fainted. He gritted his teeth and looked in the direction of the Celestial Souls city, remembering Xiao Feng's name firmly in his heart. "Xiao Feng. I will definitely make you pay with your blood." After Taoist Feng secretly swore the blood oath, he glared at the group of disciples and roared, "What are you waiting for? The marriage alliance of the Thousand Shadows sect must be completed. Find a random disciple to marry." The disciples were stunned, but they immediately got to work after regaining their senses. They were actually quite happy. Rumor had it that the Thousand Shadows sect's clear spirit immortal was a genius beauty, and whoever could marry her would be blessed by 8 lifetimes. There were not many disciples left in the Feng Sun Palace. Half of them went to the Thousand Shadows sect to marry Zhao Lingxian, while the other half stayed in the sect to clean up the battlefield. Taoist Feng did not directly go to the Celestial Souls sect to take revenge. Since Xiao Feng had the ability to kill the 8 elders, it meant that there was a powerful martial artist in the Celestial Souls sect. The Feng Sun Palace was now relying on Taoist Feng alone to support it. If he died, the Feng Sun Palace would cease to exist. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng had been recuperating on the Immortal Island for the past few days. His external injuries had healed, but he still had some internal injuries that needed some time to fully recover. Qin Feng left the Immortal Island and returned to the Immortal Spirit City. Now that he had found Su Ruoro, the 8 women, and Zhao Lingxian, the burden in his heart was finally lifted. However, he still remembered the matter of finding his mother. However, he did not plan to go to the Thousand Shadows sect to ask Qing Bai right now. He was still injured, and if that crazy woman Qing Chen ran into him and fought him to the death, Qin Feng was not confident that he could defeat her. When the women saw Qin Feng return, they all relaxed. Qin Feng planned to stay in the Immortal Spirit City for a few more days to recuperate and accompany these women. He also checked the system quests. There were still 3 quests that he had not completed. They were build a technology city in the Divine Land, change Hua Xiaozhen's 3 obediences and 4 virtues, and subdue the 10 great savage beasts. Qin Feng carefully studied these 3 quests. Change Hua Xiaozhen's thought and subdue the 10 great savage beasts could not be completed in a short time. While he was in the Immortal Spirit City, he could try to complete the quest to build a technology city. Chapter 1475. Qin Feng did as he said. These days, he locked himself in his room to build a science museum. He didn't bring any products from the outside world to China. If he had known that China was like the ancient times, he would have brought a whole train of technological products. Little pig, why are the system's technological products so expensive? Qin Feng could only buy high-tech products from the system. However, he only had 149,000 hedonist points left, and every point he spent made his heart ache. Little Pig laid on the system's lottery machine and said with an annoying expression, "Master, are you stupid? Why do you have to buy products from the Star Technology interface? The people of China are all idiots. Master can just buy some Chinese products." Qin Feng wanted to retort but found that he had nothing to say. He secretly opened his inventory. There were all sorts of things in the hedonist sovereign system's inventory, and the technological products were all in their own large inventory. Qin Feng quickly looked through the technological products, and his eyes turned into crescent moons. Indeed, they were much cheaper. A third wheel for only 1 hedonist point. Give me 100 light bulbs. Fridges for 100 hedonist points. And their Siemens double-door cellular breathing refrigerators? They're worth tens of thousands. Give me 5. Televisions are cheap too. Give me 10. Damn, a box of 12 condoms for 1 hedonist point? 100 boxes. Wait, why do I buy these things? How did they get into the interface of the technological products? Qin Feng suddenly went from the Star Technology interface to the ordinary technological products interface. It was as if he went from a luxury store to a high-end imitation store. The price dropped by tens of times. He was like a Chinese auntie shopping in a gold shop. He bought a large number of technological products in one go, from a third wheel to a car, plane, and even a ship. At this moment, the door was pushed open, and Su Ruoro and the other 9 women walked in hand. As soon as they entered the room, the women were dumbfounded. Wow! Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Have I returned to the Chinese secular world? Qin Feng, where did you get so many technological products from the outside world? Huh! There's even an electric bathtub. I can take a bath tonight. Qin Feng, what are you doing? The women couldn't understand what Qin Feng was thinking. They couldn't understand where he got so many technological products from the outside world. Qin Feng had just finished buying and was done with it. Now, he had to start organizing these technological products and perfecting the construction of the tech city. He looked back at his remaining hedonist points and was shocked. This house of technology had cost him 49,000 hedonist points, and now he only had 100,000 left. Ah! Qin Feng, where did you get so many condoms? I thought you didn't wear condoms. Su Ruoro rummaged through a pile of condom boxes and blushed. Qin Feng felt awkward and pretended not to hear Su Ruoro's words. He hurriedly organized the girls and said, "Beauties, help me organize these products and put them all together. I want to hold a large-scale technology exhibition in Immortal Spirit City and make our Immortal Spirit City and Immortal Spirit sect famous." The girls immediately became spirited. They couldn't find any fun in the divine great land. Today, they finally had something to do. Qin Feng called all the disciples of the spiritual immortal sect over. This time, more than 100 people were busy building the Science and Technology Museum. In just 2 days, a huge Science and Technology Museum had been built. On the 3rd day, the Science and Technology Museum officially opened. Actually, when Qin Feng showed off his prowess in Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum, he made Immortal Spirit City's Science and Technology Museum famous. At that time, he said that Immortal Spirit City would hold an even larger technology exhibition in the future. Now that the news was out, it instantly attracted a large number of Holy Gate disciples. Holy shit, so this is the legendary Immortal Spirit City. It feels very different from the other cities. Immortal Spirit sect has been very famous in the Divine Great Land recently. They're rumored to be the most mysterious sect. I've seen an ordinary disciple of Immortal Spirit sect, Xiao Feng. That person is young but very skilled. This Immortal Spirit sect is definitely not simple. We shouldn't cause trouble so easily. This is the Science and Technology Museum. This exhibition is too big. It's almost 5 times bigger than Fire Beacon City's Science and Technology Museum. Early in the morning, many Holy Gate disciples gathered in the Science and Technology Museum. Qin Feng had already arranged for the Immortal Spirit sect disciples to receive and protect them. As for Su Ruoro and the other 9 women, they wore sexy cheongsams and specialized in selling technological products. Once the Holy Gate disciples entered the Science and Technology Museum, they were dazzled. Not only did the dazzling array of technological products make people yearn for them, but the beauty and sexiness of Su Ruoro and the other 9 women also made people restless. However, when they remembered that this was Immortal Spirit sect's territory, they immediately stopped peeking at the 9 beauties. Seeing that the museum was already full of people, Qin Feng walked up the round stage unhurriedly. He had a microphone clipped to his collar. When he spoke, his voice resonated throughout the museum. Dear Holy Gate friends, today is the first technology exhibition held by my Immortal Spirit sect. All the items in this exhibition are clearly priced and fair. Because this is the first time we're holding a technology exhibition, in order to give the majority of the users some benefits, we've come up with many special promotions. For example, if you buy 10 items, you'll get 1 technological product. If you buy 20, you'll get 2. There's no limit. On behalf of the Immortal Spirit sect's disciples, I can assure everyone that the technological products produced by our Immortal Spirit sect are definitely the cheapest on the internet. No, we're the cheapest in the entire China. The exhibition will last for 3 days. Everyone, hurry up and purchase. If you miss this opportunity, you'll have to wait another year. Qin Feng brought the promotional methods and some pleasantries of the outside world to the entire China, making Su Ruoro and the other 9 women tremble. However, this method was very effective. The Holy Gate disciples below the stage couldn't wait any longer before the exhibition began. Let's cut to the chase. Today's exhibition officially begins. If you're interested in any technological products, you can find our beautiful sales attendants to purchase them. Let me remind everyone that the 9 beautiful sales attendants are all my people. If anyone dares to mess around, I won't be polite. Qin Feng's words dispelled everyone's crooked thoughts. The group of male disciples glared at him with envy and jealousy. The crowd suddenly went crazy. It was as if they were rushing to buy tax-free products from overseas. Heroine, what's that? You don't recognize this? That's a television. A male disciple ran over to Zhang Kuku and was looked down upon by her. The man felt a little pressured, but he braced himself and continued to ask, television? What's it for? Zhang Kuku grew impatient. She pouted and yelled, are you an idiot? Of course it's for watching television. The man was infuriated, but he didn't dare to vent his anger. He stared at the 58-inch LCD television for a long time, but he couldn't figure out what it was. Qin Feng walked over with a smile and pulled Zhang Kuku into his arms. He knocked her head and said, girl, do you know how to introduce products? You should learn. Qin Feng looked at the Holy Gate disciple and said, hero, this is a 58-inch invincible LCD super awesome television. Zhang Kuku burst into laughter as soon as he opened his mouth. The disciple's eyes lit up and he asked anxiously, it's that amazing? What's its effect? Qin Feng unhurriedly turned on the television and played a martial arts film. Do you see this? The martial arts secret manuals that have been lost for a long time are recorded in this television. If you want to buy it, hurry up. There are only 10 of them. If you're late, the secret manuals will be taken away by others. The disciple suddenly went crazy. He took out all the cultivation resources he had and bought the 58-inch invincible LCD super awesome television. He carried it in his arms and left happily. Zhang Kuku was dumbfounded. Qin Feng patted her head again and said, silly girl, do you know how to promote the sale now? Zhang Kuku was instantly energized. She waved her hands and shouted, I know, big brother Qin Feng. Kuku is the best at tricking people, ahem. How can you say that? We're helping you. Qin Feng rolled his eyes at her. Zhang Kuku ignored Qin Feng and ran to the Siemens double-door refrigerator. A disciple was looking at the refrigerator curiously. Hey! Stop looking at it. There are only 5 invincible LCD super awesome refrigerators in the universe. Hurry up and buy it. Zhang Kuku's words stunned the disciple. Invincible LCD super awesome refrigerators? What's this thing for? Zhang Kuku's eyes turned into crescents when she smiled. I'll tell you, but don't tell anyone else. There's a 100-year ice crystal inside the refrigerator. It can release an unlimited amount of ice spiritual energy. Are you an ice elemental cultivator? The disciple was amazed by Zhang Kuku's words. He nodded subconsciously and said, yes, I'm an unpopular disciple, and I cultivate an ice elemental cultivation method. Zhang Kuku was even more pleased with herself. She smiled and said, that's right. Hurry up and buy this thing. You can sit in it and cultivate every day. I guarantee that your cultivation base will skyrocket. The disciple was a little doubtful. Can I try it on the spot? Zhang Kuku could tell that the disciple was a troublesome person. She said patiently, all right. Go into the refrigerator now, and I'll connect the electricity for you. Zhang Kuku plugged in the refrigerator. Qin Feng had bought 20 generators, and they were enough to maintain the power supply of the entire Science and Technology Museum. After the refrigerator was plugged in, the disciple could feel the cold air rushing toward him. His eyes lit up as he thought, this is a treasure. With this thing, I don't have to go to Arctic City to cultivate and achieve a breakthrough anymore. Heroine, I want this thing. The disciple crawled out of the refrigerator. He looked as if he was afraid that someone would snatch it from him. Zhang Kuku clapped her hands excitedly. This was the first deal that she had made. All right, I'll sell it to you. Just give me 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. The disciple's mouth twitched. He pointed at the price tag on the refrigerator and said, Heroine, the price tag is 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. Zhang Kuku was displeased. That's the starting price. Do you know how many spirit stones this refrigerator can fetch in an auction? It's fine if you don't want it. The disciple became anxious. He rummaged through his storage pouch for a long time and finally took out more than 3,000 spirit stones of different quality. Heroine, look. This is all I have. Zhang Kuku quickly pushed all the spirit stones to him and said with a smile, all right, I'll sell it to you. The unpopular disciple was overjoyed. He hugged the refrigerator and ran away as if he was afraid that Zhang Kuku would regret her decision. Halfway through his run, he suddenly turned around and asked, oh yeah, what's this thing called again? Zhang Kuku was stunned. She rolled her eyes for a long time but could not recall the name. Who cares? You can call it whatever you want. Chapter 1476. With Zhang Kuku around, there were at least 80 people who had fallen for her tricks that day. However, the disciples didn't feel like they were cheated at all. They even thanked Zhang Kuku after paying. The first day of the exhibition went very smoothly. Most of the items in the museum were sold in one go. At night, Qin Feng endured the pain and bought some technological products from the system to replenish the inventory. He had to complete the mission of building the technology city. Suddenly, the technology city of the spiritual immortal sect and Xiaofeng's name became famous in the divine land. The disciples of various sects talked about these two topics. Bro, did you go to the technology museum of the spiritual immortal sect today? What treasures did you buy? The people walking on the streets of Fire Beacon City were also talking about these things. Sigh. I didn't receive any news beforehand. But I'm going to rush there tonight. I hope I can get to the Spiritual Immortal Sect tomorrow and buy some satisfactory products. The Technology Museum of the Spiritual Immortal Sect? What's that? Isn't Fire Beacon City the only place with a technology museum in the Divine Land? Why did you guys go all the way to Spiritual Immortal City? Some disciples didn't know. The others looked at that person in disdain and said, "Your news is too outdated. Forget it, I can't be bothered to explain to you. I don't want you to steal my treasures." People were discussing on the streets and alleys. It was hard for the staff of the Technology Museum to not hear them. Lei Shan stomped his feet in anger. "Dad, it must be that brat Xiao Feng's doing. He's purposely going against us." The Technology Museum of Fire Beacon City was deserted. There wasn't even a customer in sight. Lei Wanzhong stood at the entrance of the Technology Museum and looked in the direction of Spiritual Immortal City. Lei Wanzhong had been holding a grudge against Qin Feng ever since the plane fight. Lei Wanzhong was looking for a chance to kill Xiao Feng. He didn't expect Xiao Feng to suddenly do something like this. "Dad, say something. If this goes on, our Science and Technology Museum will close down." Lei Shan scurried around like a monkey in a panic. Lei Wanzhong said coldly, "Stop arguing. We'll go to Spiritual Immortal City tonight. I want to see who else in the Divine Land can get more technological products than me." The technology exhibition of the Spiritual Immortal Sect opened on time the next day. However, Qin Feng did not come today. After witnessing Zhang Ku's performance yesterday, he felt that he was no longer needed here. Qin Feng wasn't idle either. At this moment, he was recuperating on the Immortal Island. Over the past few days, his injuries had mostly healed. Qin Feng looked at the region shrouded in immortal mist in the distance, and his heart started to itch again. "Master, you want to go on an adventure again?" Little Pig asked. Qin Feng was more or less hesitant. The last time he risked his life, he was almost killed by a snow wolf and a blood-fiend brown bear. However, he also obtained an inner foundation pill, which allowed him to break through to the early stage of true Qi level 9. This place was indeed a treasure land where risks and opportunities coexisted. If Master wants to go, then go. If you encounter any danger, you can directly teleport back to the Spiritual Immortal Sect, said Little Pig. Qin Feng had almost forgotten about this. Now, he had no more worries. If he really encountered a powerful beast or an immortal, he could just run away. After adjusting his emotions, Qin Feng once again set off on his adventure. The giant winged fire demon and the other 3 vicious beasts followed him. Qin Feng discovered that the immortal mist in the area he stepped into last time had dissipated. However, he didn't go to those 2 areas again. Instead, he slowly explored the new area covered by the immortal mist. With his current realm, he was the number 1 supreme being in the secular world of Huaxia. Even in the Divine Land, he was well known. However, now that he was walking on the Immortal Island, Qin Feng was extremely careful with every step he took. He was deeply afraid that a huge beast or immortal realm expert would suddenly jump out and slap him to death. Along the way, the 4 vicious beasts led the way. This time, the new area Qin Feng explored was like a canyon. The road under his feet was rugged, and the ground was filled with crushed stones. However, these stones all contained spiritual energy, comparable to the low-grade spirit stones in the Divine Land. Along the way, Qin Feng's heart was filled with shock. The stones on the ground were simply innumerable. He thought that if the people of the Divine Land found this place, they would definitely be scared to death. Qin Feng only walked on the crushed stones in this canyon, but he felt the same effect as if he was training hard in a sacred sect in the Divine Land. After walking for an unknown amount of time, the rugged road under his feet finally became a little flatter. It seemed that he had arrived at a valley plain. Qin Feng heard the sound of flowing water. He walked towards the source of the sound and found the scenery of a waterfall. Flowers and plants were lush all around, attracting bees and butterflies. Mist lingered around the waterfall, as if it was an immortal realm. Suddenly, Little Pig's excited voice sounded, "Master, you've struck it rich. The flowers and plants on the ground are all rarely seen in the outside world. Although they aren't as powerful as the fruit of embryonic vitality, there are a lot of them. If Master eats all these flowers and plants, your strength will skyrocket." Qin Feng was stunned and looked at the flowers and plants all over the ground. These flowers and plants had strange shapes, and their stems and leaves emitted dense spiritual energy. As expected, they were species rarely seen in the outside world. Qin Feng ran over excitedly. Halfway there, he heard the 4 ferocious beasts suddenly roar. Moreover, they charged ahead of him and dashed towards the immortal mist. Roar, roar. Qin Feng could no longer see the figures of the 4 vicious beasts, but he could hear their panicked roars coming from the immortal mist. Soon, there was the sound of fighting. "Mere beast race dares to behave atrociously in front of me? Get lost!" Just as Qin Feng was rushing over, his body suddenly froze. He actually heard a human voice. He realized that the enemy this time was not the beast race, but the immortal realm experts of the immortal island. "Master, there are natives of the immortal island ahead. The 4 vicious beasts want you to leave quickly," Little Pig's anxious voice sounded. Qin Feng was a little nervous. He had only stepped into the early stage of Stage 9 Vital Qi, and according to the system's introduction, this immortal island was full of true immortals who had stepped into the immortal Qi realm. How could he deal with them? After a short moment of hesitation, Qin Feng immediately flew towards the immortal mist. How could he abandon the 4 vicious beasts and escape alone? Rumble. As soon as Qin Feng stepped into the immortal mist, he slashed down with his sword. As he entered, the immortal mist automatically dissipated, and a golden sword ray several hundred meters long fell from the sky. On the other side of the grass stood a young man in a white robe. The man's aura was very unique. It was clear and pure, as if a heavenly immortal had fallen into the mortal world. The long sword was about to fall to the ground, but the man did not retreat at all. He nimbly raised his hand and stretched out his index and middle fingers, catching the sword ray several hundred meters long falling from the sky between them. With a casual shake of his fingers, the sword ray disappeared. The 4 vicious beasts stopped roaring, stunned by this scene. Qin Feng also stood rooted to the ground, feeling like he was dreaming. The man had already seen Qin Feng. With a light leap, he landed in front of him, but did not attack. "You want to kill me?" Qin Feng pretended to be calm and said, "You bullied my war pet, so I will deal with you." The man was about the same age as Qin Feng. "Your war pet attacked me first, otherwise I would not have attacked." Qin Feng was stunned. He suddenly realized an important situation. The powerful young man in front of him seemed to be afraid of him, otherwise he would not speak so much nonsense. "Master, this is Immortal Island. Other than you, only immortal venerables who have stepped into the immortal Qi realm can step into this place." Little Pig suddenly reminded. Qin Feng immediately understood. The young man in front of him clearly thought he was a native of Immortal Island. And the young man was definitely the lowest level of cannon fodder on this immortal island. Seeing Qin Feng appear with 4 vicious beasts, it would be strange if he was not afraid. After understanding the situation, Qin Feng hurriedly retracted the true qi in his body. Right now, he was like an ordinary person who had never cultivated. He said with an arrogant attitude, "Humph. Look at your young age, you are just an ant who has stepped into the immortal Qi realm. How dare you talk back to me?" Qin Feng was not confident. He wanted to try his luck. If he guessed wrong and caused the other to notice and attack, he would immediately teleport to Immortal Soul's sect with the 4 war pets. The young man's legs were faintly trembling, and his voice was much weaker. Immortal Venerables, please don't be angry. I did not mean to provoke you. I did not see Immortal Venerables before, so I did not know these 4 vicious beasts were your war pets. Qin Feng realized he guessed correctly. The young man had already started to admit defeat. This was not because the young man was stupid and easily tricked. It was because the lowest level on Immortal Island was Immortal Qi Realm, and this young man was the lowest level of cannon fodder. Now that he had suddenly encountered Qin Feng, it would be strange if he did not admit defeat. Qin Feng let out a long sigh. He did not think that he could bluff people like this. He continued to scold, just a few words of apology and it is over? Aren't you looking down on this immortal's face too much? The young man's body trembled even more. He hurriedly said, Immortal Venerables are powerful people. You will definitely not be interested in my treasures. I found a spiritual pool in front. I can bring Immortal Venerables there. Qin Feng was pleasantly surprised, but he pretended to be cold. Hurry up and lead the way. If you dare to lie to me, I will make your head roll. Under the man's lead, Qin Feng came to the source of the waterfall. The scenery nearby was even more enchanting. The ground was filled with spirit grass and spirit plants. Not far away, there was a medium-sized pool of water. When Qin Feng was still a few dozen meters away from the spirit pool, he could already feel the surging spirit energy coming from that direction. The man was a little nervous. This spirit pool looked like a spring with slightly denser spirit energy on the Immortal Island. He was afraid that Qin Feng would look down on this place and destroy him if he was not satisfied. Immortal Venerables, do you think this place is okay? The man asked carefully. Qin Feng was overjoyed. This place was not only okay, it was simply amazing. However, he was a powerful celestial Venerables now. He always maintained a calm demeanor. Scoff. It's just a spring. At most, I can take a bath. What's the big deal? After Qin Feng said this, he almost couldn't pretend anymore. This was the most dishonest thing he had ever said. The disciple was not surprised. He hurriedly said, Celestial Venerables, I am just an ant that has just stepped into the first stage of celestial qi. I can only find these things. The better cultivation resources are taken by other celestial Venerables. I don't dare to step into those areas. Qin Feng didn't expect to meet someone on Immortal Island. He didn't know much about Immortal Island and wanted to ask the man about the situation. However, if he did that, his celestial Venerable's identity would be exposed. He might even be killed. Chapter 1477. After some careful consideration, Qin Feng decided not to ask about the situation on the Immortal Island first, lest he gave himself away and lost his life here. Moreover, in front of him was a spirit pond with rich spiritual energy, surrounded by rare spirit grasses and spirit plants in the divine Great Land. His main task now was to break through to the next realm. Seeing that the youth was still standing there, not daring to move, Qin Feng yelled with a cold expression, "What are you still standing there for? Do you want to peek at me bathing? Do you believe that I can turn you into ashes with a single slap?" The corner of the man's mouth twitched. "Why would I watch you bathe?" However, he didn't dare to show his resentment. He said with relief, "Thank you, Celestial Venerable, for not killing me. I will take my leave first." "Celestial Venerable, take your time to enjoy your bath." Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back, looking like an immortal. After the man left for a while, Qin Feng let out a long sigh and patted his chest, feeling a lingering fear. That was an Immortal Qi Realm Immortal Reverent. Because of the appearance of that man, Qin Feng realized that there were other people on this immortal island, and it seemed that there were quite a few of them. Qin Feng was afraid of encountering more natives, so he immediately took off his clothes and jumped into the spirit pool. Rumble. Instantly, waves of majestic spiritual qi surged over and entered his body on its own. He sat cross-legged in the spirit pool, feeling extremely comfortable. Before this, Qin Feng had come across a spirit pool in Devil Beast Mountain in the secular world of Huaxia, but that spirit pool's density was 10 times lower than this. Qin Feng had already activated the heaven and earth yin-yang harmony balance to absorb the spiritual energy around him. Not long ago, he had eaten an inner foundation pill and broken through to the early stage of true qi 9th stage. Originally, the true qi in his dantian was somewhat empty, but after soaking in the spirit pool for a while, his body was about to explode from the spiritual energy. While he was cultivating, the 4 ferocious beasts didn't stay idle either. They gathered the spirit herbs and spirit plants in the surroundings and brought them to the side of the spirit pool. From time to time, Qin Feng would grab a handful and eat them like candy. Time ticked by, and Qin Feng's body continued to make loud noises. Every earth-shattering noise represented a breakthrough. Unknowingly, Qin Feng had already stepped into the later stage of True Qi Stage 9. It was the 3rd day that the Science and Technology Museum of the Spiritual Immortal Sect had opened. Yesterday's exhibition was still as lively as ever. More than half of the technological products in the museum had been purchased. However, the women couldn't find Qin Feng, so they couldn't make up for the technological products in the museum. Even so, there were still many Holy Gate disciples who came to participate in the exhibition. Why aren't there enough technological products today? Don't tell me you're out of stock. Sigh. I'm still too late. I wanted to buy a moving ice crystal chosen by a disciple of the Zhuoling sect, but I didn't see it. I haven't seen young hero Qiao for the past 2 days. Did he go to stock up? Where on earth did he get the channels to sell these outside products? There were many people, and the atmosphere of the Science and Technology exhibition was still lively. Su Ruoro and the other women looked at the few technological products in the museum, which were not easy to sell. However, Zhang Kiki was not worried at all. She was jumping between the products. Heroine, is this vat also a technological product? A disciple asked. Zhang Kuku looked at him disdainfully and said, "You are really ignorant. This is not an ordinary water tank. This is the super vibrating Maria jumping jet tank." The disciple was stunned. After a long while, he asked, What do you think this is called?" Zhang Kuku could not recall it at the moment. She said indifferently, "The name isn't important. The most important thing is its function." The disciple stared at the bathtub. He could not figure out what other important functions this thing could have. Zhang Kuku continued, "There's a flow of vital energy in this jet tank. If you buy it and take a bath in it every night, the vital energy will automatically flow through your body to speed up your cultivation. Moreover, there's a vibration massage function to strengthen your acupoints and mingmen." One had to admit that Zhang Kuku's ability to fool people was second to Qin Feng. The disciple was dumbfounded. A yearning expression appeared on his face. "Can I give it a try?" Zhang Kuku was instantly displeased. "You bastard. Are you trying to take off your clothes and take a bath in front of me? Are you here to cause trouble?" The disciple was shocked. He had long heard of the reputation of the Celestial Souls sect. How would he dare to cause trouble here? "Heroine, please don't be angry. I'll buy it from you, alright?" 5 minutes later, Zhang Kuku kept the 2,000 spirit stones and ran off to find a new target to fool with a smile on her face. As she busied herself, the remaining products that were hard to sell were sold one by one. Su Ruoro and the other 7 ladies were filled with admiration for her. More and more people gathered in the museum. Everyone had heard that today was the last day of the Science and Technology exhibition in Celestial Souls City. Logically speaking, there should be a final product. Huh? Is the final product not going to be released? The Science and Technology Museum is almost sold out. Let's wait a little longer. Young hero Qiao has yet to appear. I believe he will surprise everyone. The crowd was getting anxious. At this moment, two groups of people rushed into the Science and Technology Museum. When the people in the museum saw them, their expressions changed drastically. Holy shit! Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Are they the Wind Sun Palace and the Thousand Shadow sect of the Five Supremes of the Divine Continent? They're not just here. The sect masters of the two sects are here personally. Even Sect Master Feng and Sect Master Qingchen are interested in the high-tech products from the outside world. I've never seen them visit the Science and Technology Museum in Fire Beacon City before. I think they're here to cause trouble for the Celestial Souls sect. Have you guys heard? Recently, there's a rumor that the Celestial Souls sect is going to replace the Thousand Shadows sect as one of the Five Supremes. Someone asked in confusion, then why is the Wind Sun Palace here? That person lowered his voice and said, don't you know? A few days ago, the Wind Sun Palace got married to a genius female disciple of the Thousand Shadows sect. Now, the two sects have a close relationship. Everyone gossiped, but they did it in whispers. They were afraid that if these words reached the ears of Qingchen and Daoist Feng, they would lose their lives instantly. The two sect masters each brought a team of 20 disciples. In total, there were about 50 people. This was not a small force. Who are you? Are you here to participate in the Science and Technology exhibition? A few people from the Qiao clan were standing guard at the entrance. They had been imprisoned by the Spirit Beast sect for the past 20 years in the Divine Continent. They did not even know Qingchen and Daoist Feng. Seeing that they did not come with good intentions, the people from the Qiao clan stopped them and questioned them. Daoist Feng's expression turned cold, but he did not attack immediately. Qingchen scolded coldly, open your dog eyes and look carefully. I'm the sect master of the Thousand Shadows sect, Qingchen. This is the sect master of the Wind Sun Palace, Daoist Feng. The people from the Qiao clan were shocked when they heard their names. Even if they had never seen them before, they had heard of their names. The Science and Technology Museum was in an uproar. Many disciples had only heard of their names but had never seen them in person. Now that they knew that the man and woman standing outside were the sect masters of two of the Divine Continent's Five Supremes, they felt like they were dreaming. So it's the two seniors. Seniors, you're also here to participate in the Science and Technology exhibition, right? Qiao Shishi's uncle, Qiao Jin, softened his tone. Now that the Celestial Souls sect was developing, if they offended these two powerful sects, they would be dead meat. Daoist Feng and Qingchen were puzzled when they saw Qiao Jin admit defeat. Not long ago, the two sects had been severely suppressed by Qiao Feng, who seemed to be just an ordinary disciple of the Celestial Souls sect. They originally thought that the Celestial Souls sect was full of experts and their disciples were all arrogant. Now that they were here, Qingchen and Daoist Feng realized that was not the case. What's so interesting about a pile of scrap metal from the outside world? Compared to martial arts, technological products are worthless, Qingchen snorted coldly. Qiao Jin's heart tightened. They were not here to visit the exhibition? Then weren't they here to cause trouble? Seniors, the Science and Technology exhibition of the Celestial Souls sect is only open to visitors. Since the two of you are not here to visit, please leave. Qiao Jin suddenly became unyielding. He represented the face of the Celestial Souls sect. Qingchen and Daoist Feng could not figure out the ins and outs of the Celestial Souls sect. The disciples here would admit defeat one moment and act tough the next. They had no idea what they were up to. However, the two of them were here to take down Xiao Feng. How could they leave so easily? How dare you? Do we need you to tell us whether Daoist Feng and I are staying or leaving? Hurry up and tell your sect's Xiao Feng to come out. Otherwise, we won't hold back. Knowing that the two of them were here for Xiao Feng, Xiao Jin's expression became solemn. Xiao Feng's whereabouts were unknown. However, even if Xiao Jin knew, he would not let them take him away so easily. My sect doesn't have a disciple called Xiao Feng. You should leave. Qingchen's patience was about to run out. Vital energy surged from his body, pressuring Xiao Jin and the others to the point of suffocation. Stop pretending. That brat is a disciple of your Celestial Souls sect. A few days ago, he dared to attack my Thousand Shadows sect and the Wind Sun Palace alone. Why is he a coward today? He doesn't even dare to show his face. At this point, everyone in the room understood what was going on. Xiao Feng of the Celestial Souls sect had offended the sect leaders of the Thousand Shadows sect and the Wind Sun Palace at the same time. Was this brat tired of living? Everyone discussed endlessly. However, the voices did not seem to be optimistic about Xiao Feng and the Celestial Souls sect. Although the Celestial Souls sect's reputation had risen in the Divine Continent recently, it was still a new sect. How could it compare to the joint attack of two sects that had dominated the Divine Continent for a long time? What's going on here? Who dares to cause trouble in my Celestial Souls sect? At this moment, Master Qiao rushed over with a group of people after hearing the news. When he found out the other party's identity from Xiao Jin, he also felt anxious. Who are you? Qingchen glared at Master Qiao coldly. I am the sect leader of the Celestial Souls sect, Master Qiao. The person you're looking for isn't here. It's best if you leave quickly. Master Qiao pretended to be calm. The other party was the sect leader of two sects in the Divine Continent. A strange look flashed in Qingchen's cold eyes. She sized up Master Qiao and realized that his aura was only at the 5th stage of vital energy. How could someone like him become the sect leader of the Celestial Souls sect? What was going on with this sect? Sect leader Qiao, sect leader Daoist Feng, and I only want Xiao Feng. As long as your Celestial Souls sect is willing to hand him over, we'll leave immediately. Qingchen was still uncertain and did not dare to act rashly. Chapter 1478. Master Qiao sensed that danger was about to strike, but he still said firmly, I've already said that the spiritual sect doesn't have the person you're looking for. Just as he finished speaking, Qingchen released a cold aura and suddenly slapped towards him. Humph. I'd like to see just how powerful the immortal spiritual sect is. Rumble. As a stage 9 vital energy cultivator, Qingchen's slap sent the row of people guarding the Science and Technology Museum flying. The disciples in the museum screamed, and the scene became chaotic. Many people covered their heads and ran away. Some people stole some of the exhibits in the museum. The 9 women were furious and flew to the door. Zhao Lingxian looked at Qingchen coldly and said, If you're unhappy, come at me. Don't attack anyone else. Seeing Zhao Lingxian, Qingchen was sure that Xiao Feng was a disciple of the spiritual sect. She guessed that Xiao Feng already knew that they were here and was too scared to come out. Sect leader Feng, this is our sect's genius female disciple, Qing Lingxian. She was forcefully abducted by Xiao Feng of Lingxian sect. Qingchen immediately told Daoist Feng. She seemed to lower her head before Daoist Feng. A few days ago, Taoist Feng had sent people to the Thousand Shadows sect to fetch a bride. In the end, he heard that the female disciple had been taken away. In a fit of anger, he discussed with Qingchen how to deal with Xiao Feng together. That was why they brought people to cause trouble at the spiritual sect today. Zhao Lingxian angrily said, "Don't spout nonsense. I wasn't captured by Qiao Feng. He's my man, and I came back with him willingly, but you, woman, forced me to marry into the Wind Sun Palace. Where is your conscience?" At this moment, there were many holy sect disciples watching. As the sect leader, Qing Chen was furious when she was publicly reprimanded by Zhao Lingxian. She leapt lightly and grabbed Zhao Lingxian. The expressions of the other 8 women changed drastically, and they all rushed forward to save her. "Sisters, leave quickly. You're not this woman's match. Get Qiao Feng to save me after this," Zhao Lingxian shouted anxiously. The 8 women were impatient. Qing Chen laughed coldly. "Ha! That brat Qiao Feng can't even protect himself today, and you still hope that he can save you?" As he said that, Qing Chen looked at Taoist Feng and asked in a questioning tone, "Sect leader Feng, the immortal spirit sect is just putting up a front. They're not even at the level of a first-rate sacred sect. Why don't we work together today and directly destroy the immortal spirit sect and take over immortal spirit city?" Before the 2 of them came, they only wanted to take Qiao Feng away. They were even a little worried. After all, the spiritual immortal sect had recently become very famous, and the sect was very mysterious. But now that he had seen the situation of the immortal spirit sect clearly, Qing Chen had long changed his mind. Daoist Feng's old eyes also shone brightly. The immortal spirit city was a big fat piece of meat formed from the merger of 2 cities. Disciples of the various sacred sects, listen up. Today, sect leader Qing Chen and I have come to annihilate the spiritual immortal sect. If the disciples of the spiritual immortal sect do not leave quickly, don't blame me for being rude. Daoist Feng quickly made his decision under the temptation of the huge piece of land that was Immortal Spirit City. The group of Holy Gate disciples fled in fright. They knew very well how powerful the Thousand Shadow sect and the Wind Sun Palace were. Especially that sect leader Daoist Feng. It was rumored that he had already stepped into the pinnacle of True Qi Stage 9. That was half a step into the realm of immortals. In just a short while, the originally crowded and noisy Science and Technology Museum was now completely deserted. Only Su Ruoro, the 8 girls, and the few people from the Qiao clan were left. Daoist Feng's gaze swept across the 8 girls. An evil glint flashed across his old eyes. These 8 girls were all outstanding beauties. It would be good to take them as servants. You dare to cause trouble in the spiritual immortal sect? If you don't leave now, don't blame my sect for being rude. Qiao Master forced himself to stand up. Qing Chen's casual palm strike had seriously injured him. Qing Chen did not take Qiao Master seriously at all. She had finally figured out the ins and outs of the spiritual immortal sect. This sect was just a mid-tier sect. She did not know how they had taken over distant Ice City and Meteor City. A mere spiritual immortal sect dares to be so impudent? I'm giving you a chance to surrender now. If you don't cherish it, my Thousand Shadow sect and the Wind Sun Palace will start a massacre here. Qing Chen's voice was cold. Everyone became nervous. Now that Qin Fun was not here, the girls and the Qiao clan had lost their backbone. They realized how powerful Qing Chen and Daoist Feng were. If they really fought, with the current strength of the spiritual immortal sect, it would be like throwing an egg against a rock. For a moment, everyone was silent. However, they stood where they were and refused to give way. Qing Chen waited impatiently. Just as she was about to attack, a white figure landed on the ground, giving everyone a fright. Qiao Feng, hurry up and leave. They're here to capture you. Young hero Qiao will hold the fort here. You should leave this place first. The person who came was Qin Fun. He seemed to have descended from the sky. At this moment, he stood in front of the girls. His white robe fluttered even though there was no wind. Seeing that he had arrived, the girls were only pleasantly surprised for a moment. Then, they were immediately filled with worry. Everyone knew that Qingchen and Daoist Feng had specially come to capture Qin Fen. However, they did not think that Qin Fen could defeat the two sect leaders. Everyone was only concerned about Qin Fen. They did not notice the change in his aura. Qin Fen's expression was indifferent. He stood with his hands behind his back. His aura was as majestic as the sea. However, it was calm. Even Qingchen did not notice these changes. When she saw Qin Fen appear, she smiled coldly and said, "Humph. Why don't you be a coward for the rest of your life? You actually dared to come out and send yourself to death." Daoist Feng had heard of Qiao Feng long ago. This person had wiped out the 8 elders of the Winsen Palace and even killed 2 of his illegitimate children. However, this was the first time Daoist Feng had seen Qin Fen. His eyes immediately blazed with rage. Facing the two sect leaders, Qin Fen had a relaxed and indifferent expression. He looked at Qingchen and said, "You old woman, you really don't know what's good for you. I spared your life the last time. Yet, you still insist on coming to send yourself to death." Qingchen was stunned. She finally noticed the change in Qin Fen's aura. Even she could not see through it. However, she quickly calmed down. If she had come alone today, she would have had some misgivings. However, Daoist Feng was standing beside her to support her. Why would she be afraid of Qin Fen? You're still so stubborn even at death's door. Today, I'll show you my prowess. Qingchen hated Qin Fen to death. She clenched her teeth and sent a palm strike over. Suddenly, a strong wind blew, and a vast, surging quintessential energy surged over. It was as if it wanted to raise the Science and Technology Museum to the ground. Su Ruoro, the other women, Qiao Shi, and the others were already out of breath. They were forced to retreat to an empty space dozens of meters away. However, they discovered that Qin Fen was still standing in his original spot. The huge palm print was about to send him flying. Rumble. The sound seemed to have arrived a little too early. The commotion was even more intense than expected. Suddenly, a purple dragon roared in the sky. When everyone saw it clearly, they realized that it was 2 balls of fire exploding in midair. The palm print that Qingchen sent out was like a piece of tofu, instantly dissipating in the purple cloud immortal fire. However, the flames instantly spread for hundreds of meters, frightening Qingchen and Daoist Feng into retreating quickly. However, the many disciples they brought were not prepared. They were all drowned in the blazing flames. Rumble. Loud explosions rang out, and they did not stop for a while. Everyone was already stunned. Their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. At this moment, there were still some bold Sacred Gate disciples who did not really leave. Instead, they stood in the distance and watched the show. They originally thought that Ling Xian's sect was going to be annihilated today. However, they realized that the situation had changed drastically. Who is that person? Why is he so powerful? You don't even know young hero Qiao? You really wasted your time in the Divine Land. That person is Ling Xian sect's ordinary disciple, Qiao Feng. Why do I feel that he is even more powerful than Ling Xian sect leader Qiao Gong? He is more than powerful. He killed more than 40 venerables from Thousand Shadow sect and Wind Sun Palace in one move. This is simply a miracle. Only an immortal venerable can do that. The crowd in the distance discussed. They were truly shocked by Qin Fen's strength. The purple flames that kept exploding in the sky finally dissipated. In front of them was a scene of destruction. The trees and buildings were all burned. The disciples of the two sects were turned into ashes. Only Qingchen and Daoist Feng were left standing in the distance with fear in their eyes. I say, old woman, do you like to run around naked so much? Don't you have any shame? Qingchen's clothes were burned, and half of her hair was burned. Her originally snow-white skin was charred black. At first glance, no one would believe that she was the sect leader of the Thousand Shadow sect, one of the 5 venerables of the Divine Land. There were many men around, which made Qingchen feel a little embarrassed. She glared at Qin Fan coldly. She wanted to cut him into 1,000 pieces. However, after a long time, Qingchen did not make a move. She was already afraid. "Qiao, were you the one who went to my Wind Sun Palace and started a massacre a few days ago?" Daoist Feng, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke. His hatred for Qin Fan was no less than Qingchen's. Everyone tensed up. At the end of the day, Daoist Feng was the person who everyone feared the most. Rumor had it that this old man was a venerable who had reached the peak of stage 9 vital energy. He was half a step into the ranks of immortals. Qin Fan sized up Daoist Feng. Not long ago, he had broken through 2 levels in a row on Immortal Island. Now, he had reached the advanced stage of stage 9 vital energy. Even if Daoist Feng did not come to find him today, Qin Fan planned to take the time to completely eradicate the existence of Wind Sun Palace. That's right. That day, I stepped into Wind Sun Palace and started a massacre. What are you unhappy about? Qin Fan stood with his hands clasped behind his back. His words were domineering. Su Ruoro and the other women screamed in fear. The disciples who were watching from afar almost knelt down. Daoist Feng was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Without another word, his figure suddenly disappeared. Rumble. A loud sound that sounded like muffled thunder landed on the ground. The ground where Qin Fan had been standing previously sank into a huge crater. However, another muffled sound came from the plains hundreds of meters away. Everyone looked over and was dumbfounded. In the blink of an eye, Qin Fan and Daoist Feng had both fought hundreds of meters away. Many Sacred Gate disciples were hiding there. For a moment, they were so scared that they covered their heads and scurried away. The battle between the two was extremely intense. Just the vital energy ripples from the explosions killed a few innocent disciples with lower cultivation levels. Stinking brat, you dare to be so impudent when you're only at the advanced stage of stage 9 vital energy? Today will be the anniversary of your death. After exchanging blows, Daoist Feng had a good grasp of Qin Fan's strength. His worried heart immediately calmed down. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.